Chapter 2294. 10,000 Demon Flames, Heaven and Earth Destruction. As the world shook, 10,000 demons came to pay their respects, unifying the 6 realms for thousands of years. The powerful demonic flames carried countless demonic shadows as they charged toward Ling Huang, not giving him any face at all. This was the Spirit Brilliance Palace, the place with the most defensive formations in the primordial immortal empire. The Dark Emperor was very confident in himself to dare to act out here. How dare you? As the master of the primordial immortal empire, how could Ling Huang be willing to let go? 9 Heavens Brilliance Technique. Ling Huang raised his palms to the sky, summoning the 9 luminaries. The 7 stars were indestructible, and endless immortal energy poured into his body. Rumble! The huge palm print drew out a supreme suction force. The endless demonic flames could not escape and were all absorbed. Then, the palm print closed and the demonic flames disappeared. This mystique shook the world, and the primordial immortal empire's experts cheered. Great, Ling Huang is invincible! All hail Ling Huang! The primordial immortal empire's experts had been shocked by the Dark Emperor's power, and now they recovered. On the peak, the Darkness Emperor smiled and said, "Ha ha, the might of the Ling Huang sect truly lives up to its name. I'm naturally full of sincerity. You and I are well aware of our respective strength. Only by working together will we have a chance to fight against the evil spirits and Yi Chen. The evil spirits have wreaked havoc, and the spirit realm has been lost. How do you want to work together? Let's put aside our ancient feud and conquer the spirit realm together to fight against the evil spirits." Ling Huang thought for a moment. The spirit realm had completely fallen. If they could rely on the demon race to re-establish a stronghold, it would be beneficial to the primordial immortal empire. After all, it would greatly delay the evil spirit's advance. Dark Emperor, why don't we each send 100,000 troops to test it out and see the results? Ha ha ha, that's exactly what I was thinking. We have a tacit understanding. Ha, I still remember our agreement of 1,000 years. Very well. We'll meet in the spirit realm in 3 days. Please. Ling Huang put away the huge palm print, and the Dark Emperor flew up along the Pillar of Darkness. On the evil spirit altar, the 9th Origin chanted a secret spell. Instantly, evil energy shot up into the sky. Countless evil lights flickered in the sky, causing the space to tremble as a heavenly gate appeared. Zzz. An evil seal appeared above the gate of heaven. Blood sacrifice, evil energy for all eternity. The 9th Origin released some of its own blood, which poured into the wretched seal, causing it to shine with dazzling light. Then, the heavenly gate began to tremble, and countless magical symbols began to float out. Ha ha ha! He laughed like a madman as he looked into the gate of heaven. Zzz. All of a sudden, a figure appeared above the heavenly gate, an enormous figure that looked like a giant of heaven and earth. When the 9th Origin saw it, it immediately bowed respectfully, not daring to be negligent. The 9th Essence. The deep voice was filled with indescribable majesty that caused the 9th Origin to tremble. Then, it rose to its feet and looked up at the enormous figure. Exalted 4th Origin. This person was the direct leader of the 9th Origin, the 4th Origin. Within the evil spirit world, the 4 great river source powers were the true rulers of the evil spirit world. They were far more powerful than the other river source powers, and their cultivation bases were so high that no one knew exactly how strong they were. The 9th river source was the vanguard that the 4th river source had sent to the spirit world. Your mission is not progressing smoothly. That was your subordinate's mistake. However, the 3 great river source powers have descended to the lower worlds, and the 8th Origin is gone. That's a good thing for us. Ha! The 8th Origin was a great general of the 3rd Origin. Well done. Laughter echoed out. Who would have thought that the 4th Origin would actually be happy about the 8th Origin's death? Undercurrents were surging within the evil spirit world, and no one knew exactly what was going on. We can't be disorderly before the evil spirit world's grand plan to unify the 6 realms. Right now, you need to cooperate with the 6th origin and wait for my orders. Your subordinate is well aware of that. I will obey the 4th origin's orders. Very good. Just wait. It won't be long before the evil spirit world's army enters the world. At that time, no power will be a match for us. Yes, sir. The 9th origin bowed again, sending the 4th origin off. After returning to the evil spirit temple, the 9th origin passed on the 4th origin's orders to the 6th and 7th origin. Very good. Before the evil spirit world's grand plan is carried out, 9th origin, please don't be selfish. This is the bottom line of the evil spirit. 6th origin, there's no need to doubt my loyalty. Ah. The 6th origin laughed heartily at the 9th origin, a profound look in their eyes. Rumble. All of a sudden, the ground trembled, and a powerful energy erupted from deep within the earth. It was as if heaven and earth were trembling. The 3 great origins were completely shaken, and immediately rushed out of the evil spirit temple to sense what was happening in the depths of the evil spirit abyss. Something's not right. The 6th origin's palm slammed into the ground, and instantly, evil power surged out from the veins of the earth. However, that power quickly vanished without a trace. The 3 great origins were once again shaken. The palm they had just unleashed could have killed a celestial immortal, but it had been completely useless against this strange phenomenon. What did that mean? The 3 great origins could sense that the source of the strange phenomenon was somewhere in the spirit world. However, if they tried to sense the exact location, they would be interrupted, and unable to focus. What's going on? The 9th origin asked. This seems to be a natural phenomenon of the spirit world, not some force. The 6th origin frowned, as if it was taking this phenomenon very seriously. The 7th origin leaned over the ground, using his superior hearing to try to pinpoint the exact location of the strange phenomenon. However, all he heard was a stampede of 10,000 horses, and a chaotic flow of energy. What's going on, old 7th? The 6th origin asked. It's hard to tell, the 7th origin said with a frown. This phenomenon is too strange. It's definitely not an ordinary phenomenon. We can't let it affect the final descent of the evil spirit. The 9th origin, immediately send a large army to investigate. Yes, sir. The 9th origin nodded, then quickly left. At the same time, Yi Chen sensed a powerful tremor in the void abyss of the underworld, which was even more intense than the tremor in the spirit world. Yi Chen's field of vision covered a vast area of the underworld. Countless streams of underworld energy were spreading out, and the strange phenomenon was stirring. Wind and clouds swept about, as if the entire world was shaking. This was the first time Yi Chen had ever seen a phenomenon like this. What's going on? Yi Chen looked at the void abyss up ahead. Although he couldn't be sure, his powerful 6th sense told him that the source of the strange phenomenon was in the void abyss. In the void origin, the Lord of the Underworld flew in pursuit of the solitary sword spirit. The sword spirit sped along, circling above a spirit land. The Lord of the Underworld stopped, its entire body emitting a piercing cold energy. Chapter 2295. Arg! The underworld god suddenly covered his head and cried out in pain. The countless memories in his mind were mixed into one, and he could not figure them out. The super-chaotic pain made his mind collapse. He called out a person's name, and then he fell into even greater chaos. He had been sleeping for too long and had forgotten the biggest secret in his heart. However, the traces left behind by the memory allowed him to find this place. The moment he saw the Dugu Jianling, he thought he had found the answer, but now, he fell into endless chaos again. ZZZ. As the powerful mind power swept through the world and filled the 9 heavens, Endless power broke through the restrictions of time and space and rushed to Earth. Arg! There was another person on Earth who was in pain at the same time. It was Suyuhan. She flew out, and her figure was like a dream. Soon, she arrived at a secret mountain forest. The sudden pain made her break out in cold sweat, and she fell into a state of chaos. She had no idea what was happening. Ever since she left the underworld, she had been normal. She returned to the area and took care of the children so that Yi Chen would not have to worry about them. She did not even improve her body during this period because she wanted to reduce her connection with the underworld. However, she still sensed the chaos this time. It was from the underworld. Yi Chen, did something happen to you? Yi Chen's figure suddenly appeared in her mind, and her heartbeat became more chaotic. In the abyss of nothingness, the underworld god released the underworld power to protect himself. He had no better idea. However, the sword spirit continued to release power. Even the underworld power could not stop the transmission of power. It seemed to be the agreement in his previous life that it could not be destroyed. Who exactly is this vivid sense of life coming from? Suddenly, the underworld god sensed Suyuhan on Earth. A pair of eyes of darkness appeared in Suyuhan's mind across countless dimensions, making her panic. What is this? The memories of the underworld lord kept surging in her mind. Suyuhan felt a tremor that hit the deepest part of her soul. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. With a flash of lightning, everything disappeared again. Meanwhile, the Dugu Jianling continued to fly in the abyss of nothingness. Where are you going? The underworld god turned into a shadow and followed the Dugu Jianling. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The sword spirit flew faster and faster, but the underworld deity was close behind. Several more hours passed, and the sword spirit finally came to a halt. In front of him was a boundless starry sky, a boundless torrent of space-time. It was as if everything here had become eternal. This is, the god of the underworld opened his eyes and watched the Dugu Jianling disappear into the endless starry sky. That was his destination. Demon's Eye. He opened the eye of the devil and looked at the starry sky. Waves of life energy flowed out, making the underworld god feel waves of warmth and familiarity. He was extremely excited as he walked into the sea of stars. In front of the void abyss, Yi Chen finally took his first step. Underworld deity, I don't care what secrets you have. Let me reveal them. Yi Chen stepped on the celestial emperor's sword as lotuses bloomed around him. He entered the void instantly. The space inside was indeed different from the outside. Yi Chen instantly felt a strong pressure. This pressure was very strange and could only be reduced by divine power. Ordinary power was useless. It was as if the entire place was prepared for the god. How could this be? The existence of this place was very unusual. Yi Chen realized that there must be some connection between this place and the underworld god. Demon's Eye. Yi Chen opened the demon's eye at the same time. He saw a vast sea of stars. It was because of the homologous effect of the demon's eye that he saw some of the images that the underworld god saw. Let's go. With a step, the celestial emperor's sword flew like a stream of light, bringing Yi Chen into the mysterious void. In the deepest part of the void abyss, there was an endless sea of stars. The underworld god stepped into it. At a glance, he could not tell the difference between the thousands of stars. The underworld god released his power and kept extending it, trying to find the root. However, no matter how hard he tried, he could not find anything. Impossible! The underworld god was furious. He released countless illusory streams of light that rushed in all directions. Countless information was brought back and entered the underworld god's mind. However, the information was chaotic, as if it had been set by someone. This was not an ordinary space, but a vast starry sky maze formation that no one could break through. The underworld god saw the mystery. If he wanted to see the truth, he had to break through the starry sky maze formation. Ha ha, come at me if you want to test me. The underworld god's wild laughter echoed in the 9 heavens and 10 lands. A divine weapon appeared in his hand, the netherworld mirror. Whoosh! He threw the netherworld mirror and looked at the 3,000 world. No matter how vast the starry sky was, it could not escape the netherworld mirror's gaze. Sizzle! The light of the underworld shrouded the 3,000 worlds. The endless array was controlled by the underworld god. How amazing! Who could set up such an exquisite array and mobilize vast power to set up endless space and time? What a godly person! The underworld god could not help but exclaim. Before this, he did not think that there was anyone who could receive such a compliment from the underworld god. What he saw before him was unconventional. The netherworld mirror enveloped the endless space and time. Finally, a formation diagram appeared before him. After seeing the true diagram, the underworld god was even more surprised. What he saw before him was like a dream. He felt a sense of familiarity. The underworld god waved his arm and the demon's eye appeared again. All the information about the array entered his eyes. Putting away the netherworld mirror, the underworld god waved his sword. Under the guidance of the demon's eye, he found a possible way to break the array. Sizzle! After a few steps, the Dugu Jianling suddenly appeared again. His sword chi was awe-inspiring and filled with murderous intent. The underworld god's eyes turned cold. He pointed his sword at the Dugu Jianling. The Dugu Jianling formed countless swords and attacked the underworld god. Ha ha! Child's play! The underworld god stepped forward. He was not afraid of the sword array at all. It turned out that he was covered with a layer of underworld god energy shield. All the swords landed on the shield and could not reach his body. Whoosh! 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 Boom! 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 The sword chi continued to attack without any effect. The underworld god walked into the vast starry sky. The Dugu Jianling hung above the starry sky. Then, starlight poured into the Dugu Jianling. A sky pass appeared in front of him. Oh, the underworld god smiled with interest. He looked at the sky pass and saw a person standing on it. The two looked at each other. The underworld god was shocked. Damn it! The underworld god's power formed a sword and rushed toward the sky pass. Whoosh! At the same time, the swordsman above the sky pass moved slightly. His sword finger formed a sword and swept out. The underworld god's power instantly. Chapter 2296. The nether god's power dissipated instantly. The nether god frowned. The opponent in front of him was not simple. Those who stop the nether god will die. Facing the nether god's powerful voice, the opponent was not afraid at all. He remained silent and activated the astral maze formation. Suddenly, the entire space fell into extreme chaos again. It was an unpredictable situation. Such a situation was very difficult to solve. However, the lonely sword spirit was here. The nether god would not miss this opportunity. Dong dong dong. The nether god entered the formation. No matter what formation it was, he would break it. At the same time, Yi Chen also entered the void abyss with the heavenly sword. Soon, he saw the astral maze formation and even sensed the nether god's energy. His gaze swept thousands of miles and instantly saw the battle scene in front of him. Nether god. Yi Chen locked his gaze on the nether god and moved forward quickly. He wanted to know what the nether god was doing and why he did not fulfill his promise. As Yi Chen moved forward, he saw the nether god fighting a mysterious powerhouse. Both of them were using their abilities, but it was hard to tell who was the winner. This situation surprised Yi Chen. Who was the nether god? Someone could fight against him? In the astral maze formation, the nether god's power kept exploding. The surrounding space expanded rapidly and countless stars exploded. The nether god finally understood that the person in front of him also used the nether god's power and his foundation was strong beyond imagination. Ever since he fell asleep, his foundation was not as good as before. That was why the person in front of him could take advantage of him. However, the astral maze formation ahead contained the lonely sword spirit's secret. The Nether God would not stop. Nether Moon Whale. After a long time, the Nether God was enraged and used his ultimate ability. Endless resentful spirits rushed into the sky, carrying the power to destroy ghosts. It shook the world and filled the surroundings. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The ghosts screamed with endless resentful energy. Nether Moon Whale. At this moment, the mysterious expert in the sky was actually using the same divine ability and the same power to attack the 9 heavens. Such a strange thing caused the Nether Serpent to turn pale with fright. Similarly, Yi Chen, who was watching from the outside, also felt an incomprehensible phenomenon. Ah! The Nether God laughed as if he understood something, but also fell into a deeper level of confusion. Netherworld Mirror, kill! The Netherworld Mirror reappeared in the void, and the boundless ghost energy was added once again. The powerful wails of ghosts and howls of wolves instantly swept through the entire space, forcefully suppressing the mysterious expert's divine ability. How about now? The god of the underworld waved an arm in a provocative manner, but the opponent was not moved at all. He activated the starry sky maze and covered up the ghost energy again. It's useless. I gave you a chance, but now you don't have a chance. The god of the underworld opened the eye of the fiend. Immediately, the 9 heavens were filled with the power of the god of the underworld, which turned into the image of the god of the underworld. Its sharp claws pressed down, and heaven and earth collapsed. Boom! Space shattered and the universe ceased to exist. Ugh! Finally, under the strong suppression of the god of the underworld, the mysterious powerhouse could not hold on any longer, and his body exploded. After defeating its opponent, the Nether God continued forward. Yi Chen carefully observed the Nether God's divine ability as he constantly evolved and cultivated in the ancient god space. After all, the eye of the demon and the source of darkness gave him a natural affinity for the god of the underworld's mystiques. With the help of the ancient god space, cultivating it would be much easier. Go! The heavenly sword under his feet sped forward to keep up with the god of the underworld. Walking into the starry sky maze, the god of the underworld mirror reappeared and illuminated a path deep into the starry sky. The starry sky path before them seemed to have no end. The god of the underworld walked and observed but ultimately did not find anything. Meanwhile, Yi Chen entered the starry sky maze and lost the god of the underworld's position. He could only find his own way forward. After walking for about an hour, he also found that the starry sky before him seemed to have no end. Even the path he came from had disappeared without a trace. Am I trapped? Yi Chen looked around. There was no end as far as the eye could see. It was difficult to obtain any information. God of the underworld. This time, he had come to find the god of the underworld. This situation was disadvantageous to him. After all, the Netherworld battle mansion could be in danger at any time in the outside world. Yi Chen roared and his voice shook the land. He wanted to rely on the god of the underworld's divine power to sense the god of the underworld's position. However, his voice spread out like a clay ox entering the sea, not stirring up a single ripple. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Suddenly, Yi Chen seemed to see countless ghostly shadows appearing and then disappearing without a trace. Such a situation was clearly not natural. This was a man-made array formation. Ha, a formation? I'll do as you wish. Yi Chen's eyes flashed. He tossed out the 8-gate divine disc and the Buddha Emperor's sacred tablet. Immediately, the 9 heavens Buddha light appeared. The power of the disc rotated and the entire space entered the disc's range. The heavenly Tao may be infinite, but the light will last forever. The eye of heavenly Tao between Yi Chen's brows opened and released the light of heavenly Tao. Endless providence turned into rays of light and poured into the disc. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The disc continued to evolve. 64 trigrams opened a new world. Hiss, hiss, hiss. In Yi Chen's eyes, the world before him became clear. At a glance, there was a frozen mountain range in the distance. In the mountain range, endless god of the underworld swept through the world. A three-headed hellhound spewed demonic flames. Yi Chen's mind exploded. What was going on? Was this related to the god of the underworld's obsession? After these encounters, Yi Chen felt that this place was inextricably linked to the god of the underworld. Was the ultimate goal of the god of the underworld's obsession within the frozen mountain range? Thinking of this, Yi Chen tossed out the dragon-taming spear. Thunder and lightning automatically opened a path for Yi Chen. Yi Chen stepped on a golden lotus and walked on this path. The space before him expanded rapidly, but Yi Chen still seemed endless. This predicament infuriated the Heavenly Emperor. Space-time fury. The fury appeared and the space-time laws instantly changed. The dragon-taming spear activated the thunder god Dharma form and the space formation before him exploded. "Ha, I'm coming!" Yi Chen chuckled. Although the formation was exquisite, it could not stop the Heavenly Emperor. Passing through the limitations of space-time, Yi Chen finally arrived at the frozen mountain range. Nether Seal Mountain. The three large words entered his mind and automatically introduced the existence of the mountain range before him. At a glance, the mountain range stretched on endlessly as if it was millions of miles long. Endless god of the underworld revolved and continuously gathered at the core, which was the frozen land. Sensing the situation in the frozen land, the god of the underworld in Yi Chen's body was extremely restless. Rumble, rumble, rumble. In his meridians, the god of the underworld seemed to automatically rush out and inject into the core. This strange phenomenon surprised Yi Chen. How is this possible? Yi Chen revolved the darkness pool, trying to stop the loss of this power, but it only encouraged this strange effect. Peerless ancient god. Faced with this situation, Yi Chen was furious. Ancient god of the underworld came out to protect him and suppress the loss of the god of the underworld. Chapter 2297. The ancient god power was endless, slowing down the loss of the dark divine power. However, the situation before him still shocked Yi Chen. What kind of power could cause the dark divine power in his body to drain? With the ancient god's protection, Yi Chen advanced forcefully, wanting to uncover this secret. Suddenly, the astral formation rippled again as Yi Chen was advancing. It released a powerful shockwave that swept across the area. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of rapid explosions shook the heavens and earth. Following that, countless rocks appeared before Yi Chen's eyes, blocking his way. However, to Yi Chen, such obstacles were nothing. They were all insignificant tricks. Slash! With a thought, the immortal slaying flying dagger flew rapidly. Countless rays of light shattered the rocks before him. Following that, the golden lotus bloomed rapidly. Infinite power propped up a light screen, leading Yi Chen forward. In front of him, the frozen air gradually thickened. The powerful dark divine power stirred up the power in Yi Chen's body. Yi Chen felt that their dark divine power came from the same source. Dark God, what are you doing here? It seemed like this place was definitely the dark god's territory. However, Yi Chen recalled that the dark god had faced the mysterious powerhouse in the astral formation. It was obvious that the dark god was also obstructed when he wanted to enter this place. What was going on? His thoughts were complicated, and he could not make an accurate judgment. He could only see the truth behind the ice. Roar! A dragon roar sounded. Instantly, all the rocks in the surrounding space shattered, turning into dust and drifting away. When Yi Chen arrived at the frozen land, he saw clearly what kind of secret was hidden in the ice. It turned out to be a person. This is... The moment he saw that person, Yi Chen was dazed. The familiarity shocked him. The person before him was like Su Yuhan, standing quietly in the ice. That cold aura was even stronger than Su Yuhan's, but the details of their expressions were similar. Was this a coincidence? Yi Chen would never believe that it was a coincidence. After all, Su Yuhan was the reincarnation of the Lord of the Underworld. She was deeply connected to the Underworld. After the Lord of the Underworld appeared, she followed Yi Chen to the spiritual realm and then entered the Underworld. This was strange in itself. If all of this was related to Su Yuhan, all the more Yi Chen had to investigate. Yi Chen walked forward and placed his hand on the ice seal gently. Immediately, nether divine power flowed toward the person inside the ice seal. This time, he did not use the ancient divine power to suppress it. Instead, he allowed the energy to flow into the ice. He wanted to use the confidence that the nether divine power would reflect back into the ice. Zzz. As the nether divine power flowed into the ice, as expected, Yi Chen seemed to be able to sense all sorts of information about the person inside the ice. He even saw that it was the god of the underworld who had frozen this person a long time ago. "Who are you?" Yi Chen released the eerie wave, hoping to get a response. Although this method was very risky and consumed a lot of energy, Yi Chen did not say anything and immediately activated it. He did not get any response from her many times of spiritual communication. However, Yi Chen would not give up because it concerned Su Yuhan. The origin of darkness appeared behind Yi Chen and an even more powerful nether divine power was released. With such a vast amount of power being channeled into the ice, the person inside showed signs of awakening. Kacha, kacha, kacha. The surrounding ice slowly cracked. Yi Chen sensed an obvious psychic fluctuation. Zzz. He continued to release his psychic power, wanting to merge with the spiritual body inside the ice. Suddenly, Yi Chen felt an extremely strong psychic shock. He lifted his head abruptly and saw a pair of cold eyes that were as bright as stars staring at him. That feeling was very strange. Even with a super strong spiritual body like Yi Chen, he still felt a trace of uneasiness. It was obvious that the person before him had an extremely strong psychic power. "Who are you? What's your relationship with Su Yuhan?" Yi Chen asked through telepathy. There was still no response from the other party, but Yi Chen could feel that the psychic power he released was being absorbed by this person. Yi Chen released these things on purpose, hoping that the other party would wake up soon and answer his question. However, the woman's change was still very slow. It was unknown how many years she had been frozen. No wonder she was like this. Yi Chen unleashed his power once again. Powerful energy was infused into the ice seal, causing more cracks to appear in the surrounding ice seal. Following that, the woman's eyes shone with a strange light. After Yi Chen received it, a shadow instantly appeared in front of him. It was the woman. Facing such a phenomenon, Yi Chen dealt with it cautiously. After thousands of years of slumber, someone other than him has come here. The woman said. "The him you're talking about is the god of the underworld?" Yi Chen asked. "Ha, you really do know about the god of the underworld. I saw many emotions in your anxious eyes earlier. You seem to be obsessed with me." Hearing this, Yi Chen's eyes narrowed and he asked, "What's your relationship with Su Yuhan?" Su Yuhan? Hearing the name, the woman was stunned for a moment. However, that was all. She did not react much. She said, "I don't know anything about Su Yuhan, but I have a favor to ask of you." "What is it?" "Remove this 1,000-year ice seal." "It's not difficult for me, but I want to ask you to go to Earth with me to meet someone." "As long as you remove the ice seal, I'll definitely agree to it." "Alright." Yi Chen nodded slightly and channeled all the ancient god power in his body into his 8 extraordinary meridians. Subsequently, he flew up and the dragon restraining spear appeared in his hand. Thunder God's form, 9 refinements divine spear. He channeled the ancient god power into the dragon restraining spear. Immediately, the wind and clouds surged, thunder appeared, and the 9 heavens shook. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Boom, boom, boom. Thunder rumbled continuously, and the spear pierced through everything. Just when Yi Chen was about to remove the ice seal with his spear, the space in the sky suddenly tore, and a person descended powerfully. No. There was a sudden cold shout, and the god of the underworld's palm struck down at Yi Chen. Yi Chen turned around coldly. Silver's spear flowed out of his spear as he turned around and attacked the sky. Rumble! The palm and the spear created a thunderous sound in the sky. The powerful energy spread in all directions and shook the wilderness. Many mountains around them shattered, countless glaciers cracked, and mountains and seas flowed. Yi Chen looked up and saw that it was the god of the underworld. God of the underworld! He locked his cold eyes on the god of the underworld, and his deep voice revealed endless dissatisfaction. However, the god of the underworld landed and quickly arrived before the ice seal core, seemingly protecting the person inside. This action puzzled Yi Chen. Yi Chen wanted to release the woman inside. Why was he stopped by the god of the underworld? Did the god of the underworld not want her to be resurrected? Yi Chen, don't move. Ha, god of the underworld, you've forgotten your promise and still want to stop me. What a joke. Chapter 2298. Ha, do I have to listen to you? The god of the underworld sneered in response to Yi Chen's accusation. Yi Chen was furious. No matter who the person before him was, he would not talk to him like that. Moreover, the god of the underworld had promised to help Yi Chen fight the people from the demon martial world and the primordial immortal world. Yi Chen had even helped him eliminate many evil spirit forces in the underworld world. Naturally, Yi Chen would not accept the god of the underworld's actions. Move! Yi Chen shouted and took out the dragon-taming spear. The heavenly lightning shot through the sky. Its power was not inferior to the god of the underworld. Yi Chen, calm down. Calm down? Do I need to calm down? God of the underworld, do you think I'm afraid of you? Ha, young genius, you're famous in the world. Why would you be afraid of me? Then move. Since you don't want to help, don't cause trouble. The person in the ice was related to Su Yuhan. Yi Chen did not want to waste time and wanted to figure it out as soon as possible. Therefore, saving her was necessary. However, the god of the underworld shook his head and said in a deep voice, Yi Chen, I've just recovered my memory. Do you know who this person is? I don't care who she is. I only know that this person is related to my wife. I want to save her and bring her to Earth. Fool! What? Yi Chen's eyes flashed with a cold gleam as he looked at the god of the underworld. However, the god of the underworld was unmoved. He continued to explain, the seal on the Nether Seal Mountain was personally sealed by me thousands of years ago. However, I've lost these memories because I've been asleep for too long. Ever since I came out of closed-door cultivation, some images often appeared in my mind. They were related to the Nether Seal Mountain. That's why I accompanied you to the spirit realm and then the underworld. Now I finally understand that the Nether Seal Mountain is the place that I really care about. Who is this person? Yi Chen went straight to the point. She's Su Yuhan's mother. What? Yi Chen was shocked. How could he believe Su Yuhan's mother? However, the person before him was indeed related to Su Yuhan? How did things turn out like this? The god of the underworld had expected Yi Chen's shock. God of the underworld, is Su Yuhan your son? Not bad. Her reply filled Yi Chen with mixed feelings. He did not expect things to turn out like this. However, why was Su Yuhan's mother frozen here? He really wanted to know the story behind it. After all, in his eyes, Su Yuhan was only related to the Nether Lord. Now that she was suddenly related to the Nether God, he found it hard to accept. This is what happened. Several thousand years ago, I was ambushed by the Dark Buddha of the Six Paths. The god of the underworld's narration actually involved the grievances of thousands of years ago, and the woman in front of him was the god of the underworld's most beloved, Dugu Wan. If that's the case, god of the underworld, I'm going to release Dugu Wan and reunite with Yuhan. Step aside. No. Why? Yi Chen was confused. The god of the underworld shook his head and said in a low voice, "If you lift the seal in front of you, Dugu Wan will definitely die." What? Yi Chen was shocked. Was this the reason why the Lord of the Underworld had stopped him? But why? It was Dugu Wan who had asked him to break the seal. Otherwise, he would not have acted so recklessly. She just doesn't want me to take any more risks. What do you mean? To revive Dugu Wan I'll need a rank 6 spiritual vein and my secret technique. Rank 6 spiritual vein. Yi Chen was shocked. He had never heard of that before. The god of the underworld continued, "The rank 6 spiritual vein is the most mysterious energy hub in the 6 realms. There's one in every cultivation level. Only the core essence of the rank 6 spiritual vein can be used. Back then, I challenged the world because of the 6 realms spiritual vein. In the end, I was ambushed by the Dark Buddha of the 6 paths and was severely injured, causing me to hibernate for thousands of years." I see. With Yi Chen's intelligence, he had already understood the cause and effect of the matter. It was precisely because Dugu Wan did not want the god of the underworld to continue risking her life for her and endure thousands of years of pain. That was why she wanted Yi Chen to lift the seal. At the same time, it was a form of relief. Yi Chen put the dragon restraint spear away after learning that. Naturally, he would not continue attacking because this was Dugu Wan suicide plan. "Yi Chen, I've exhausted a lot of energy during my hibernation. Not only did the Dark Buddha of the 6 paths injuries not heal, but they worsened instead." At that moment, the god of the underworld was exuding layers of dark energy. Yi Chen sensed it and realized that it contained extremely powerful hellfire power. The power suppressed the nether god power and even burned his primordial spirit continuously. "There's not much time left," the god of the underworld said. "Yi Chen, I can only trust you now. You want me to look for the rank 6 spiritual vein?" Yi Chen was right. That was the god of the underworld's wish. "That's right. I need to ensure the safety of the ice seal here. You're my only hope. As long as you bring back the rank 6 spiritual vein essence, Dugu Wan will be resurrected. Isn't that what you're doing to Su Yuhan?" Yi Chen fell into deep thought. The god of the underworld's words made sense. He should do that for Su Yuhan. Moreover, unifying the 6 realms was his grand ambition. Yi Chen, I won't let you work for free. As long as you bring back the rank 6 spiritual vein, I'll teach you the Nether God's secret mirror. It's the essence of my cultivation base. It's a treasure to you. What do you think? All right, I'll promise you that." Yi Chen promised the god of the underworld and set off quickly to look for the rank 6 spiritual vein. After leaving the astral maze formation, Yi Chen returned to the underworld. The first thing he had to look for was the spiritual vein core. In the underworld temple, Yi Chen told the Patriarch of Hell and the other core members about the situation. In the end, the Patriarch of Hell and the rest guarded the underworld and informed Yi Chen of all kinds of information. Yi Chen acted on his own and looked for the spiritual vein. According to the map of the underworld given by the Patriarch of the Underworld, Yi Chen locked onto an unclaimed land in the underworld. According to the 8 Gates Divine Disk and the 7 Stars Lock, this place was where the spirit eye of the underworld was located. Although it was barren, Yi Chen went there alone. After 7 days of searching with the Divine Disk and the Demon Eye, he finally found a primordial peak. The Underworld Mountain is rumored to be the most mysterious and secretive place in the underworld. I'd like to see how many surprises it can bring me. Stepping into the Underworld Mountain, Yi Chen sensed a heavy and oppressive atmosphere. The environment here was clearly different from other places in the underworld. The Yin energy here was extremely heavy. If Yi Chen did not have the god of the underworld's foundation, he might not be able to move an inch here. A ghost forest appeared in front of him. As he walked into the forest, Yi Chen felt that his energy was greatly disturbed. The endless ghost forest hid unfathomable dangers. The surrounding space rustled and there were strange sounds. Under the dark sky, it was like entering a dark hell. It was suffocating. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A gust of wind swept and the earth and rocks cracked. Countless black leaves fluttered down, sending chills down one's spine. Chapter 2299. Evil Spirit Abyss, Origin Hall. Did you receive a new order? The seventh Origin asked. The sixth Origin frowned slightly and said, I received a message from the altar. Lady Nu Rong personally ordered us to take control of the 6 realms' spirit veins as soon as possible. Rank 6 spirit veins? That's right. The rank 6 spirit veins are the energy core of the 6 realms and the key to unifying the 6 realms. We will carry out Lady Nu Rong's order with our lives. In that case, let's begin. Summon all evil generals and scatter into the 6 realms to find the spirit veins. Seventh brother, go to the underworld to find the spirit veins and investigate Yi Chen's situation. Yes. The seventh Origin nodded slightly and went to the underworld after gathering his troops. The sixth Origin looked around the entire spirit realm. Naturally, he was looking for the spirit veins in the spirit realm. The primordial immortal world and the demon martial world had formed an alliance and were preparing to enter the spirit realm. In the spirit realm, the abandoned true spirit hall was stirring again. Rumble. As the super space-time passageway opened, Ling Wang and the Darkness Emperor personally led an army. I didn't expect the cultivators of the spirit realm to be so weak. The Darkness Emperor sneered when he saw the current state of the true spirit hall. Our primordial immortal world's army has descended. This time, we must prosper the immortal Tao. Darkness Emperor, our greatest enemy in the spirit realm is the evil spirit. What are your plans? Ling Wang asked. The Darkness Emperor's eyes turned cold. The failure of the demon martial world had humiliated the demon martial world. This time, they must return to the spirit realm. Ling Wang, why don't we go to the evil spirit abyss? Are we going to take the evil spirits down a notch? That's right. Ha ha ha, great. The two almighties smiled at each other and flew toward the evil spirit abyss. The remaining demon martial world and primordial immortal world armies began to build fortifications to prevent the evil spirits from attacking. In the ghost woods in the underworld, Yi Chen was still looking for the path to the spirit vein. Yi Chen bowed slightly and supported himself with one hand. Then, he released nether divine power from his 5 fingers. He wanted to communicate with the entire spirit vein to find clues. As the power from his 5 fingers seeped into the spirit vein, waves of nether divine power silently connected with the power in the spirit vein like little snakes. Zzz. After about a quarter of an hour, all sorts of information began to flow back. The land within a 1,000-mile radius was completely under Yi Chen's control. In Yi Chen's mind, a vast, endless 1,000-blade mountain range appeared. This mountain range was like a coiling dragon, and those peaks were like the reverse scales of a dragon that stretched across the land. At the same time, strange auras were constantly being emitted. These auras could even be seen, like the hot breath of a giant, and the laws within them were strange and unfathomable. There is actually such a strange place in the netherworld. Yi Chen had never noticed this place before. He only sensed it when he was looking for the spiritual vein this time. Sword Control Art, Rise. Yi Chen released the heavenly sword and stepped on the ground, heading toward the place where he had sensed it. The closer Yi Chen got to that place, the more he could feel the hidden bitterness, melancholy, majesty, and indescribable feeling. This feeling made Yi Chen feel as if he was in the same place. He was surrounded by 1,000-blade peak. Hoo! Strange energy constantly seeped out from the 1,000-blade peak. This energy turned into a tangible aura that floated between the peaks like a black fog. Strange lights constantly flashed within it, like a pair of cold and gloomy eyes looking at the invaders. Rumble! Suddenly, A rumbling sound reverberated from the peak. Many thousand blade peaks began to collapse. Rubble flew into the clouds, and 1,000 autumns crashed onto the shore, causing these strange auras to attack Yi Chen like a grand wave. Yi Chen's brows turned cold, and he struck out with his palm. Ninth Heaven Thunder Palm. The sharp palm drew lightning, and the world shook. A grand palm print shot out and collided with the airwaves that swept over from the 1,000-blade peak. ZZT, ZZT, ZZT. The power of lightning swept through the sky, suppressing the airwaves. However, the laws within the airwaves quickly began to transform. The power of the palm print was madly nibbled away by the airwave. In the blink of an eye, Yi Chen's palm print disappeared without a trace. Seeing this, Yi Chen's Buddha's light blazed. The power of the seal shone out with Buddha's words. ZZT, ZZT, ZZT. The Buddha's Emperor's light was so powerful that it instantly suppressed the airwaves of death. From the depths of the airwaves came a decadent sound, like an old man's low moan, like the growl of a dying beast. It was impossible to hear what it was, but it was extremely oppressive. The uneasy aura did not stop because of the Buddha's light. Instead, it deepened. What a strange place, but it's piqued my interest. Yi Chen continued to venture deeper into the 1,000-blade mountains to find out the truth. At the same time, a dark figure rushed in from the entrance to the underworld. Behind him were several powerful evil generals. It was the 7th Origin. The underworld reminds me of the underworld realm. This aura is very familiar. The 7th Origin's gaze swept through the world, and all sorts of underworld auras constantly reverberated in his mind. Split up and investigate immediately. Use the magic artifacts we prepared beforehand, and find the spirit vein as soon as possible. Understood? Yes, we understand. Dozens of powerful evil generals each led a small team and ran in different directions. The 7th Origin narrowed his eyes and flew into the air. There seemed to be very little life in the underworld. He immediately locked onto the direction of the underworld temple, where Yi Chen's subordinates were stationed. However, his goal this time was not to break into the underworld temple, but to find the spirit vein. Yi Chen will settle our debts. His gaze turned cold, and his sharp teeth chattered as he tossed out an artifact. PSSST, PSSST. The artifact was shaped like a shield, and it was engraved with various evil spirit patterns. They were actually high-level inscriptions that allowed evil energy to automatically form a formation and activate the artifact, automatically searching for the source of energy between heaven and earth. Soon, the artifact reflected light back, forming a three-dimensional image in front of the 7th Origin. It was an image of the land within a 1,000-mile radius. Many sources of energy were displayed, but they were all ordinary energy sources that were very different from a real spirit vein. Let's go. The 7th Origin jumped onto the artifact and flew it into the depths of the underworld. After passing through the ghost forest, Yi Chen arrived at the foot of the 1,000-blade mountains. As far as the eye could see, the entire mountain range was shrouded in a strange aura. This aura carried with it a boundless aura of death, even more despairing than the chi of hell. The low murmuring continued, as if warning the intruder to leave immediately, or else die. Boom, boom, boom. The earth trembled, and boulders rolled down from the 1,000-blade mountains, carrying with them endless sand and dust. The strange aura of death surged continuously, as if it wanted to devour all life in front of it. Chapter 2300. You're deliberately mystifying and blocking my path. Unforgivable. Faced with such a vast aura of death, Yi Chen was enraged. The wrath of the Heavenly Emperor was enough to destroy the world. Buddha Emperor Tablet. Yi Chen tossed out the tablet. Buddha's light shone brightly, purging the vengeful spirits. The tablet was unstoppable. Yi Chen stepped onto the 1,000-edge mountain path and walked into the mountain. As he walked into the mountain, the surrounding space suddenly changed rapidly. Time seemed to have stopped. The evening glow disappeared without a trace, leaving only the gray moon hanging in the sky. Although the path before him was illuminated by Buddha's light, it was still dim and lifeless. Relying on the tablet's power, Yi Chen pressed forward and went straight to the source of the aura of death. Another 100 steps and you'll be crushed. Suddenly, a powerful and intimidating voice came from the depths of the thick fog ahead, stopping Yi Chen. Who's deliberately mystifying? Come out! Yi Chen shouted coldly. With a powerful force, he swept into the depths of the fog. Boom, boom, boom. The shocking explosion was caused by the power of the heavenly dragon's roar. In the depths of the fog, there were continuous explosions and the aura tumbled. Damn it! With a furious roar, the fog continued to gather and formed the form of a spirit king. You're just a mortal. How dare you anger the spirit king? You're courting death. If you're really the spirit king, you should bow down before the heavenly emperor. What a joke. Die. The spirit king sneered and waved its claws. Boundless aura of death shrouded it, causing the surrounding thousand-edge peak to rumble. Countless gravel turned into incomparably sharp blades and attacked Yi Chen. Yi Chen took a step forward and stomped on the ground, shaking thousands of miles. His entire body was covered in the black and gold night demon armor. Clang, clang, clang. With a clang, the stone blades that could penetrate supreme-grade immortal weapons with ghostly aura of death attacked Yi Chen's body but did not cause any damage. It was like scratching an itch. This was the first time the Spirit King had seen such a scene. He was shocked. This is impossible. Who are you? Although it was formed by the dense mist of death, the expression on the Ghost King's face was very real. He looked at Yi Chen with a look of horror and disbelief. His crushing stone blade looked simple, but it contained the ghostly aura of death. Even a supreme-grade immortal weapon would shatter, but Yi Chen had completely blocked it. Are you wearing a heavenly soldier? The gatekeeper Ghost King asked. At least you have some eyesight. This Emperor's Night Demon battle armor has ascended many times and is still a high-level heavenly soldier. Damn it, a mere Xian immortal can actually wear a high-level heavenly weapon and not collapse. Who exactly are you? I've told you, Heavenly Emperor Yi Chen. Boast. The Guardian Ghost King would not allow Yi Chen to act so presumptuously. He waved his arms and summoned countless death energy to gather. He wanted to use the law of death to completely make Yi Chen fall into a state of decay. Chi chi chi. As the ghostly energy wrapped around his body, Yi Chen sensed that the night demon armor was beginning to be corroded by the ghostly energy. Although he was not afraid of the ghostly energy with the black gold glaze's powerful recovery ability, Yi Fan did not want to waste time. Buddha Emperor, World Merciful Hands. Boom boom boom. The Buddha Emperor's shadow appeared behind Yi Chen, and a grand hand seal reached out. The Buddha's great mercy released the souls of the dead. The Buddha Emperor's nomological laws were so high that they attracted the worship of thousands of saints. The sky was filled with starlight. It actually broke through the deathly fog and rushed downward. It pierced through the gatekeeper Ghost King's head. In an instant, the fog dissipated. With a scream, the Ghost King's body dissipated and his primordial spirit was released. After the gatekeeper Ghost King was released, the ground rumbled again. Then, a grand ghost gate rose from the ground. 18 halls of the Netherworld. There were 5 big words engraved on the ghost gate. It constantly emitted a strange light that could intimidate one's mind. However, Yi Chen could see through it at a glance. It was just a mind deterrence law and was not enough. 18 halls. Seeing this title, Yi Chen understood clearly. If he wanted to truly enter Thousand Blade Peak, the 18 halls before him were the biggest obstacles. Ignorant child, how dare you kill the gatekeeper Ghost King in the Netherworld? What punishment do you deserve? At this moment, the voice of judgment came from within the Ghost Gate. The first hall's Ghost King had appeared. Yi Chen flew up and rushed into the Ghost Gate. He saw a Ghost King wearing a yellow robe and holding a deadly steel trident. He was glaring at Yi Chen with wide eyes. "Ha, the Ghost King of the 18 Halls, is this kind of thing?" Yi Chen asked with a cold smile. Arrogant child, death is a given." The Yaksha Ghost King was furious. He waved the steel trident in his hand like the wind. Suddenly, a ghost storm swept out in the surrounding space, quickly occupying the space, making it impossible for Yi Chen to dodge. However, he did not know that Yi Chen did not plan to dodge at all. It seems like the Gatekeeper Ghost King's tragic state didn't teach you a lesson. In that case, I don't mind teaching another Ghost King a lesson. Merciful hand of salvation. The grand palm print descended again. The Yaksha Ghost King turned pale with fright. He continued to stir the death energy, and the storm grew larger, with the power to devour heaven and earth. However, before the Buddha Emperor's hand, it could not withstand a single blow and was instantly destroyed. Absorb. Yi Chen did not refuse. The Sky Serpent opened its mouth and absorbed all the ghost energy of death. Ah! The Buddha's subordinate, the Ghost King, was executed. Yi Chen forcefully broke through the first stage and walked into the second hall. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As he walked in, he saw endless flames in the blink of an eye. It was like a flaming mountain, burning everything. Those who walked in would even lose their sense of self. Yi Chen felt that his spirit was beginning to dissipate. It was not that his martial Tao will was not strong enough, but the flames here contained a strange law that could decompose mind power. God-killing ghost fire, boundless hell. In the center of the flames, a person sat cross-legged on a ghost platform. His figure was like a Buddha, his ears drooped to his shoulders, and he looked like an angry Asura. There were 6 trains under his feet, constantly spewing tongues of fire, forcing people to become demons. "I'm the God-killing Ghost King. Kneel and surrender." God-killing? Ah! Yi Chen laughed loudly. What was a god? Geniuses were the only ones. Geniuses were the strongest. Heavenly Emperor's order, human sword revolution. With both feet on the ground, Yi Chen struck with his sword. The revolving sword chi swept through the world. Under the revolving sword chi, endless flames rushed toward the 9 heavens, making way for Yi Chen. Clatter, clatter, clatter! Yi Chen stepped on the ground and walked straight forward as if he was entering an uninhabited land. "Ha ha, you're powerful indeed, but it's ridiculous to think that you can get past me like this." At this moment, the God-killing Ghost King's body shook, and 6 arms grew out of his back. Each arm grabbed a train. Immediately, the God-killing ghost fire was released without limit. There was a sea of fire in front of him, and Yi Chen's head was in extreme pain as if it was cracking. D***eminent. Chapter 2301. Facing the endless release of the God-killing demonic flame, Yi Chen's dragon energy surged. Roar, roar, roar! The true dragon roared, and the dragon energy shield resisted the God-killing demonic flame. However, the demonic flame continued to affect Yi Chen's primordial spirit through the psyche effect. Reverse revolution. Yi Chen gathered all the dragon energy in his body and released the most unexpected move. Reverse revolution. All the dragon energy carried the demonic flame and attacked, countering the Ghost King God Slayer's demonic flame. Boom, boom, boom. Demonic flame against demonic flame. Under the 9 heavens there were endless explosions. In the end, the impact of the demonic flame evolved into a demonic flame gale that swept through the entire space. Not only Yi Chen, but even the Ghost King God Slayer was affected. Seeing that Yi Chen did not care about his own safety and continued to release the reverse battle maneuver, it was because he had absolute confidence in his own body refinement. On the other hand, after the demonic flame ultimate technique failed, the Ghost King God Punisher fell into Yi Chen's crosshairs. "You want to disturb my mind? I'll make you suffer heavenly punishment." Thunder Dragon. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Yi Chen called out and the dragon-restrained spear flew out. The Thunder Dragon appeared. as the heavenly emperor commands. The thunder dragon held the dragon-restrained spear and floated high in the sky. He waved the spear, and in an instant, the gale of the entire god-killing demonic flame was under his control. It was filled with countless thunder god avatars, and they all attacked the Ghost King God Slayer. The Ghost King God Slayer completely lost his confidence. He threw away his armor and tried to escape. Blocking this emperor's path, it's too late for you to escape now. The Buddha behind Yi Chen used the Buddha's hand again. It was like the sky was covered, and the majestic pressure pressed down, instantly grabbing the Ghost King God Slayer. Then, the heavenly snake roared, and the Ghost King God Slayer was swallowed by the heavenly snake, leaving no flesh or blood behind. With a final scream of terror, the Ghost King God Slayer's power disappeared. Withdraw. Then, the Buddha's hand moved again, and all the Ghost King God trains were thrown into the heavenly furnace. After entering the seventh essence in the depths of the netherworld, he used his magical device to search for spirit lodes. Eventually, he found the Ghost Forest, which led to the second passageway to the Ghost Gate of Hell. I didn't expect it to be so easy. Summon all the evil generals. Mima, Mima, Mima. The seventh origin began to chant an incantation, unleashing its evil power. Soon, all of the wretched generals were affected by the summoning power, and began to rush in the direction of the seventh origin. After passing through the second palace, Yi Chen continued forward and instantly passed through the third palace to the sixth palace. The seventh nether palace. Raising his head, he saw the seventh palace. Open the door! Yi Chen smirked and struck with his palm. It was a palm print that contained powerful ghostly energy. The palm imprint was strengthened by the spiritual essence. With a single palm strike, it was as if 100 palms were bombarding the door. The door of the seventh hall couldn't defend at all. In an instant, countless cracks appeared on its surface. Then, it exploded. Behind the door, netherworld energy flooded the place, and the air was thick with ghost energy. Within the thick fog, there seemed to be countless grains of sand surging like waves, unable to be avoided. Yi Chen launched a few more palm strikes, but they were like clay oxen entering the sea. There was no effect at all. Interesting. Yi Chen stepped into such a domain, wanting to experience it for himself. A sense of danger rushed into Yi Chen's head as soon as he stepped in. He stopped immediately, but it was too late. Ha! Wild laughter came from the hall. Following that, time and space were distorted. Yi Chen's feet were filled with quicksand. As soon as he stepped in, he couldn't escape. His entire body kept sinking downward. Oh! Quicksand hell, is this your domain? Before this king, quicksand is your destiny. This is your end. The Quicksand Ghost King held a funnel-like supersized magic tool in his hand. The world before him had completely turned into a quicksand hell. Here, no one could escape the control of the quicksand. This was the world of quicksand, and the Quicksand Ghost King was the only ruler. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Countless quicksand carried Yi Chen's figure downward. Yi Chen wanted to jump out of the cage by relying on the space law, but he immediately sensed that in this place, the space had been absolutely distorted and was not under his control. Enter this king's flowing sand realm. The Quicksand Ghost King's figure transformed, and the image of a giant as large as a mountain appeared in front of Yi Chen. Following that, the giant waved his arm, and his arms suddenly turned into endless quicksand, falling from the sky and pressing heavily on top of Yi Chen's head. It was impossible to resist such a huge pressure in the quicksand. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Yi Chen's body sank rapidly, but there was still no point to hold on to. Rumble. With a strange sound, Yi Chen felt his vision go black, and he fell into a different space. Following that, a gust of wind blew past. Yi Chen felt his body heat up, and a strong sun appeared in the surrounding space. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Endless light shone, making Yi Chen's body feel like it was being roasted. Looking around, Yi Chen saw quicksand everywhere. It was an endless desert land. The surrounding quicksand was like a python, constantly moving, and the only thing that remained unchanged was the ultra-high temperature in the quicksand. This high temperature constantly roasted the life inside until they died. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Endless blazing wind rushed toward Yi Chen's face, making his body instantly enter a state of dehydration, and it was extremely uncomfortable. Night Demon Battle Armor. Yi Chen released the Night Demon Battle Armor to resist the strong wind in front of him. However, the strong wind could not only melt a person's body, but it could also roast a person's spirit. This seemed to be a common phenomenon in the Nether Palace. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The Night Demon Battle Armor constantly made a burning sound, and Yi Chen could feel the invasion of that ultra-high temperature through the battle armor. Ha! This is a little surprising. Is that so? There's more that will surprise you. At this time, above the desert, a huge sand dune kept moving forward, and then it evolved into an incomparably tall giant. It was the transformation of the Quicksand Ghost King. Thump, thump, thump. As soon as it appeared, the Quicksand Ghost King did not give Yi Chen any time to breathe, and he bombarded the ground below with countless punches. Following that, the places that were bombarded were like volcanic eruptions, the ground collapsed, the quicksand rolled, and there was no life left. Such a terrifying attack, coupled with the ultra-high temperature of the quicksand prison, made Yi Chen feel a little pressure for the first time. However, this pressure made Yi Chen smile. You're still smiling? You should kneel before me when you're about to die. Ha ha ha, Quicksand Ghost King, you've worked hard to create such a trial ground for me. I should thank you. Chapter 2302. Test? Boy, you're wrong. In my quicksand prison, there's only eternal death. There's no chance of a test. In the face of Yi Chen's calmness, the Quicksand Ghostly King merely regarded it as a bluff. In such an environment, even if Yi Chen was a heavenly immortal, there was no possibility of him escaping. The only ending was death here. You're too hot-tempered. I'll cool you down first. What? Just as the Quicksand Ghost King was in shock, a grand black tortoise image appeared under Yi Chen's feet. Roar! The heavenly snake black tortoise appeared. Huge waves rolled around the black tortoise as the heavenly snake ingestion erupted at the Quicksand Ghost King. Inside the black tortoise, there seemed to be an endless ocean with monstrous, unstoppable torrents. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The waves turned into sea dragons and madly attacked the quicksand giant, causing his body to sink into the monstrous power of the waves. The quicksand giant's body began to dissipate, unable to reform at all. For the first time, the quicksand giant truly felt the horror of Yi Chen. Now, he could finally seriously think about how Yi Chen could break through the protection of 6 ghost kings in such a short time and come to him. Such an extraordinary person should not be underestimated by him. Instead, he should regard him as a real opponent. Quicksand sky. Endless waves raged, constantly nibbling away at the quicksand giant, making him extremely angry. The Quicksand Ghost King released his great divinity, causing the sky to be filled with quicksand. Countless ghostly energy turned into quicksand and fell down in a frenzy, swearing to fill the sea and create land, completely sealing off Yi Chen's monstrous waves. Come at me! With the black tortoise as the base, wind, thunder, rain. Yi Chen reappeared with the might of the 9 levels of Heaven Tao. Together with his thunder god avatar, stormy waves, clouds and rain of the 9 heavens, violently crashed into the quicksand world. Floodwaters filled the sky. It was a countermeasure against the Quicksand Ghost King's divinity. This is impossible. In the quicksand prison, he was the only master. How could someone trigger such monstrous waves here? This was absolutely illogical. The Ghost King was terrified and angry. He waved his hand. Suddenly, huge palms continuously stretched out from the ground of the quicksand prison and kept grabbing at Yi Chen. Immortal Slaying Flying Dagger. Yes, master. The immortal slaying flying saber flew out, and the saber beam instantly turned into infinite shadows. The vast saber beam rapidly shattered the giant quicksand hand in front of him. The quicksand ghostly king's great divinity had been broken. In the end, he used the highest temperature in the quicksand prison, hoping to completely crush Yi Chen with the barrier power of the quicksand prison. Hoo. However, under the guidance of the black tortoise, the high temperature of the quicksand prison had long lost its effect under the towering waves. At this moment, Yi Chen was completely unscathed and would not be attacked by the high temperature at all. He rode the black tortoise and soared into the sky. Wind and thunder move, violent wind and torrential rain conceal the divine might. With the support of the 9 skandhas of the spiritual Buddha, the power of the tempest storm was increased by 100-fold. With its overwhelming power, the quicksand ghostly king's massive body finally could not hold on any longer and collapsed completely. Kacha. As his huge body turned into quicksand and scattered on the ground, the quicksand ghost king completely disappeared from this world. Master has already escaped. What can quicksand prison do? Heavenly dragon's music, break, roar! The 8 dragon chi violently attacked. The illusion before him was like a world of glass. It shattered in the air, and Yi Chen returned to the main hall. Yi Chen, the quicksand ghost king, was right in front of him. His body was covered with a layer of yellow sand. His eyes were empty as if there was nothing in them. He was staring coldly at Yi Chen but did not dare to act rashly. After all, the ability that Yi Chen had displayed in the quicksand prison was the ability that could restrain him. Quicksand Ghost King, now do you understand the gap between you and me? Why don't you bow down now? Yi Chen's domineering voice swept across and blasted into the quicksand Ghost King's ears. It was deafening and his body shivered. The quicksand on his body was constantly collapsing and flowing away. Just a single voice had triggered such terrifying power. The quicksand Ghost King was terrified. He was still only at Yi Chen's strength, and was not someone he could afford to offend. If it was not because of the contract with this place, he would never dare to go against such an expert. Yi Chen, I admit that you're very strong, but this is not a place for you. It's better that you leave. Ha, your persuasion is useless. Quicksand Ghost King, kneel before me. This is your only way out. You. The Quicksand Ghost King gritted his teeth. He did not expect Yi Chen to make such a request. His legs were trembling and his eyes were constantly moving. Should he do such a thing? Clang. Finally, the Quicksand Ghost King compromised. He had been completely shocked by Yi Chen's black tortoise. The power of the black tortoise was the nemesis of his quicksand prison. If he continued to fight, he would only lose. He could only surrender. The great emperor above, the Quicksand Ghost King kowtows. Please have mercy and spare my life. Ha. Yi Chen laughed and looked at the Quicksand Ghost King. One of the 18 palace's guardian underworld generals was also so weak. Withdraw your quicksand power. Yes. The Quicksand Ghost King did not dare to act rashly. He could only show his quicksand law, and all of it was absorbed into the ancient god space by Yi Chen. After absorbing the quicksand law, Yi Chen moved his divine consciousness. Suddenly, a path automatically appeared on the quicksand in front of him. Yi Chen stepped on the black tortoise and quickly passed through the quicksand hall. Looking at Yi Chen walking away, the Quicksand Ghost King kept shaking his head. He had already felt the powerful nether divine power from Yi Chen and knew that Yi Chen was already the lord of the underworld. Therefore, there was no point in fighting against Yi Chen. Failure was failure. After passing through the quicksand prison, Yi Chen saw a desolate place. He frowned slightly and glanced around. The land within a radius of 10,000 miles was also desolate. It did not look like one of the 18 palaces of the netherworld at all. What happened? Yi Chen rode on the black tortoise to look at the surrounding scenery. What he saw was the scene left behind after the battle. Someone has been here. This was the only reasonable explanation. However, someone had come here and there was a great battle. It was very likely that the Ghost King guarding this place had died in the hands of the person who rushed in. This made Yi Chen reconsider whether there was such a coincidence in this world, or if there were others who already knew about the sixth stage spirit vein. Naturally, they would not want to resurrect Dugu Waner. They could only use the spirit vein to dominate the six realms. It's only interesting if there's an opponent. Since someone had broken into the 18 palaces, time became tight. He must not let the spirit realm of the underworld fall into the hands of others. This was not only related to Dugu Wan Er's resurrection, but also related to Yi Chen's ambition to unify the six realms. Go, Black Tortoise! Roar! The black tortoise increased its speed and continued to charge. Soon, it rushed through the 8th palace and then the 5th palace in one go. Yi Chen stopped in his tracks. He clearly felt an unusual surge of power. Just as he sensed it, his body suddenly lost its strength. Then, together with the black tortoise, he was dragged into another space. Chapter 2303. It changes every 7 days. After Yi Chen opened his eyes, he realized that he was already in the 13th hall. A blinding light blinded him, and the pain made him close his eyes immediately. Then, he relied on his senses to obtain information. His divine power sensed that there were many golden mirrors around him, blinding him. Golden light hell. The 3 words automatically entered Yi Chen's mind. After sensing the surroundings, Yi Chen sensed a total of 18 golden mirrors, all of which were emitting corrosive light. Although he closed his eyes, the night demon armor could not hold on for long under the golden light. The only way was to break this formation, or he would die. Azura heaven-shaking kill. He used his ultimate move and punched with his palm. Powerful divine power went straight for the golden mirrors. Zap zap zap. However, when these powers were hit by Yi Chen's divine power, they were useless. The divine power was even reflected by the mirrors and returned to Yi Chen. Yi Chen waved his hand. A dark vortex appeared, and his divine power returned. The light continued to shine. Although the night demon armor had ascended several times, it was still powerless against such terrifying power. Master, I can't hold on much longer. Don't worry, I'm thinking. Yes. The night demon armor fused with the regeneration power of the darkness pool and continued to repair itself, resisting the golden lights. Just as both sides were in a stalemate, Yi Chen suddenly sensed a new life form in this space. This person was not a spirit king but an immortal world cultivator. Someone from the primordial world? So what if I am? The person responded disdainfully, not bothering to hide it. Yi Chen could sense that this person had opened his eyes. Under the golden light mirror's illumination, this person was not afraid of the mirror's damage to his eyes. Golden light mirror, soul-devouring bone. Why don't we work together to break this formation? Yi Chen asked with a smile. Don't think I don't know who you are. You're the heavenly emperor Yi Chen that the primordial world fears. This time, I was ordered by Ling Huang to find the secrets of the underworld. I didn't expect to find such a secret place. Here, I can use a secret technique to maintain myself, but you can only die. When the time comes, I'll make a great contribution. Oh, what method do you have to resist the golden light mirror? It's the supreme grade immortal artifact, Mirror of Darkness. Mirror of Darkness? Yi Chen did not expect the primordial immortal world to have such a treasure. Sensing this person's actions, it was clear that the Mirror of Darkness had a strong restraining effect on the golden light mirror. It could even absorb the golden light for its own use. It was not surprising that it could resist the golden light formation. Although you can resist the golden light, you won't be able to break the golden light array with your strength. You will eventually be trapped here. You're a smart person, so you should know this, right? So what? Ling Wang and the demon martial world are working together and have already descended into the spiritual realm. How long do you think the Netherworld battle mansion and the Netherworld can last? After you die, I'll send a message to Ling Wang to save me. How naive! Yi Chen shook his head lightly. Subsequently, a spatial door with a strong wind suddenly appeared in the space. The Golden Light Ghost King had arrived. Ha 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 ha! The Golden Light Ghostly King let out a maniacal laugh. Instantly, the entire Golden Light design changed again. All the Golden Light mirrors shone towards the primordial Immortal Empire experts. Although the Mirror of Darkness was absorbing the Golden Light, as the number of Golden Light mirrors increased, the Mirror of Darkness was obviously unable to withstand it. The primordial Immortal Empire powerhouse revealed a look of fear. The Golden Light Ghost King's strength was extraordinary. It was obvious that he could not resist it with his own strength. Once all the Golden Light mirrors attacked him, even with the Mirror of Darkness, he would still die here. He turned to look at Yi Chen. At this moment, Yi Chen was sitting cross-legged in the air, resting with his eyes closed. He did not care about the existence of the Golden Light mirrors at all. Such carefree behavior shocked the powerhouse. Indeed, hearing about Yi Chen was not as good as seeing him in person. Yi Chen's behavior shocked him greatly. Golden Light Fusion, destroy. In a trance, the Golden Light Ghost King triggered the 9 Golden Light mirrors to shine at the same time. Instantly, heaven and earth dimmed and the stars sank. Golden light filled the sky with infinite power. The powerful Golden Light Fusion shone over. The Immortal World powerhouse could only use the Mirror of Darkness to forcefully resist it. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The moment the two forces collided, the Mirror of Darkness could not withstand the power of the Golden Light. The powerhouse's figure was directly sent flying, and the Mirror of Darkness fell from his hand. Yi Chen's eyes and hands were sharp. With the star-plucking palm, the Mirror of Darkness instantly fell into his hand. The Immortal World powerhouse prostrated on the ground, blood dripping from his body. He glared at Yi Chen with a look of anger. However, after receiving such a strong attack from the Golden Light, how could he still have the ability to take back the Mirror of Darkness? His life had come to an end. Die! The Golden Light Ghost King roared angrily. 6 beams of golden light attacked at the same time. The powerhouse could not resist it even if he channeled all the immortal force in his body and exploded on the spot. Blood exploded and no bones were left. The Golden Light Ghost King looked at Yi Chen with a sneer, as if he wanted to intimidate Yi Chen. However, what he saw was that Yi Chen was observing and studying the Mirror of Darkness. He did not even look at the Golden Light Ghost King. How could the Golden Light Ghost King accept such a scene? How dare you? How dare you act so recklessly in front of me? Die! 6 beams of golden light attacked Yi Chen, but Yi Chen held the Mirror of Darkness in his hand. With the support of divine power, he blocked the attack in front of him. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The golden light bombarded the Mirror of Darkness, but it was reflected instantly. It did not cause any damage at all. The 6 reflected golden lights went straight for the Ghost King. What? The Golden Light Ghost King turned pale with fright. 6 beams of golden light were no small matter. Even if he was the master of golden light, he did not dare to be careless. Go! The Golden Light Ghost King activated the 6 beams of golden light again. The reflected golden lights collided with each other to resolve the crisis before him. He looked at Yi Chen coldly with 100 question marks in his mind. He said, "Brat, how can you use this lousy mirror to resist my 6 beams of golden light? That brat from before couldn't do it at all." Hearing such questions, Yi Chen said with a smile, how did that person know the true power of the Mirror of Darkness? This is a heavenly treasure that only hides its brilliance. Once it's supported by divine power, its attributes will erupt. Not to mention 6 beams of golden light, even if there are 18 beams of golden light, I'm not afraid. D*eminent. How could the Golden Light Ghost King let it go after being looked down upon by Yi Chen? The 18 beams of golden light appeared behind him at the same time. Immediately, the power in his body was fully exerted. The surrounding space began to melt under the 18 beams of golden light, falling into a hellish state. Even incomparably hard rocks would turn into charred powder. Yi Chen tossed the mirror of darkness. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The mirror of darkness floated under the 8 gates of judgment. The 8 gates of judgment opened at the same time, and divine power was infused into the mirror of darkness. Following that, a shocking change occurred. The mirror of darkness slowly approached the divine disk. Finally, the mirror of darkness merged with the divine disk. At the end of the dark light era, dark energy soared into the sky. Chapter 2304. Roar. Dragons roared and the sky changed color. Yi Chen activated the creation rule and merged the mirror of darkness into the 8 gates divine disk, evolving the 8 dragon demon vanquishing mirror. Golden Light Ghost King, I've created this mirror so that you'll never be able to catch up to me and understand how small you are. Yi Chen held the demon vanquishing mirror in his hand. The heavenly emperor's shadow appeared behind him, majestic and majestic. Brat, you're too full of yourself. The 18 golden light mirrors will destroy you. The 18 golden light mirrors behind the Golden Light Ghost King radiated at the same time, evolving the Ghost King's supreme power. The surrounding space could not withstand the power and collapsed instantly. Rumble! Kacha, kacha, kacha! As the entire space collapsed, the 13th Nether Palace instantly disappeared. Both of them stood in the air at the same time. Buzz, buzz, buzz! Both of their mirrors were raised to their strongest power. The demon vanquishing mirror and the golden light mirror were fighting to the death. Yi Chen's eyes flickered with darkness. On the demon vanquishing mirror, various elemental energies were rapidly colliding and evolving. The power of the divine disk harmonized, and the energy of the 8 dragons roared to the 9 heavens. Lightning struck, turning the world upside down and destroying all living beings. 8 demon vanquishing mirror, dark dragon annihilation lightning. Roar. In the demon vanquishing mirror, 8 dragons danced and emerged from the 9 heavens. Dark energy soared into the sky as the god of the underworld descended, transforming into the most powerful destructive power and charging at the Golden Light Ghost King. At the same time, the Golden Light Ghost King's 18 golden light mirrors shone at the same time, transforming into the most powerful melting power, refining everything. Rumble! The sky shook and the 9 provinces moved. The destructive light caused the sun and moon to sink. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh! Endless lava and black gold flowed. Raging waves crashed against the shore. The void was like a sea of flames, boundless torrents filling the world. Yi Chen's entire body was covered in the night demon armor, black gold glazed, and 8 dragons' protection. Only the power of the 3 ultimate guardians could stop the damage from the impact. The Golden Light Ghost King was not as lucky. Yi Fan. The last 2 words were uttered. His entire body was refined by the impact of the lava. Only then would there be nothing left. Sky-devouring mirror. Yi Chen used the firmament-devouring power again. The cores of the 18 golden mirrors would not go to waste and were all devoured by the demon-vanquishing mirror. After absorbing the power of the 18 golden light mirrors, the demon-vanquishing mirror power soared. Go! It was not advisable to stay in this land of destruction for long. With a wave of his hand, Yi Chen opened a space passage and jumped in. Following that, the entire space of the 13 palaces crumbled into nothingness. The might of such a grand battle had not only caused the 13 palaces to completely collapse, it had also affected the 14th palace, the 15th palace, and even the 16th palace. The space between the 3 halls was completely shattered by the explosion of the lava and the power of the universe. The ghost kings of the 3 halls appeared at the same time. He has the power of a human and broke through the space barrier of 3 halls? The 14th palace's blood-snap ghostly king stood up and roared. The golden light ghost king's aura has disappeared. Looks like there really is an expert invading. The 15th palace Iron Tree Ghost King said. In the end, a person walked out from the darkness. He was 10 meters tall and had 2 horns on his head. His entire body was covered in black scales, and he had 6 arms and 8 legs. He was extremely terrifying. It was precisely the Ghost Bull King. 3 great Ghost Kings appeared at the same time. This was an unprecedented formation that no one could surpass. Now that the 14th, 15th, and 16th palaces have all collapsed, the 3 of us have appeared here and contributed to the success of one of the palaces. This is a rare occurrence. If the person who killed the Golden Light Ghost King enters this place, I really feel sorry for him. Looks like he doesn't dare to come. No. The Ghost Bull King crossed his arms over his chest. His eyes were bloodshot. Within the bloodshot light was a person riding on a golden-winged rock. The rock roared and the hurricane howled. Heavenly Emperor Yi Chun had barged into the tiger's den, the land of 3 kings. At this time, the tremors here also affected the second-to-last hall, the Poison Dragon Hall. Whoosh! In the dark palace, green poison suddenly exploded and spread everywhere, devouring the surrounding land. Such a temper, vicious indeed. Suddenly, a voice rang out. The Poison Dragon King opened his eyes slightly, and a figure was reflected in his green eyes. It was the 7th Origin. Evil spirit. The Poison Dragon King rose to his feet, towering like a mountain as he spread his wings, towering over the 7th Origin. However, the 7th Origin chuckled coldly, not flustered in the slightest. He was now certain that Yi Chun was being held back by the 3rd Court Ghost King. All he had to do was defeat the Poison Dragon King, and then kill the final Ghost King, and he would be able to acquire the underworld spirit vein. To an evil spirit, that would be a great honor, and he would not fail. Puny Poison Dragon, how dare you act so presumptuously in front of the source of evil spirits? You'll die a horrible death. Pfft! The Poison Dragon King spat out a mouthful of poison. It was as if heaven and earth were being attacked by a flood, terrifying and unstoppable. In the outside world, guarded by the 3 kings, someone actually dared to barge in. It was Heavenly Emperor Yi Chun. Someone really came. Wonderful, wonderful! The Bloodbreak Ghost King roared. How many years had it been since someone had barged in? Who would have thought that someone would still come under the 3 kings' guard? This showed that this person was extremely confident in his own strength. Roar, roar, roar! The great golden-winged rock swept across 3,000 miles and landed. Yi Chun looked at the 3 kings below with a hint of interest. He did not expect the 8-division Heavenly Dragon Demon Taming Mirror to be so powerful. It directly split the space between the 3 palaces and the 3 kings appearing at the same time. This was going to be a good show. Brat, kowtow 120 times and I might leave your corpse intact. Otherwise, my teeth will definitely crush your flesh and bones, hee. The one walking in front was the Bloodbreak Ghost King. He was a ghost king with the head of a wolf and the body of a human. The corner of his mouth revealed the gleam of his sharp teeth. In his blood-red eyes, there was an incomparable desire for Yi Chun. Fresh blood was what he should taste. Do you know who I am? Yi Chun asked. No. Bloodbreak Ghost King replied. I'm the Dark Lord Hades, the master of the underworld. Why are you disobeying the Dark Lord Hades' orders? The Dark Lord Hades? Iron Tree King, since when did the underworld have such a title? The Bloodbreak Ghost King asked the Iron Tree King. The Iron Tree King touched his head and shook his head slightly, indicating that he had never heard of it. A bunch of old farts. It looks like you've been squatting here for too long. You need me to loosen your bones. Yi Chun did not want to waste time, but the 3 kings before him, whether it was in terms of lineup or battle intent, it was obvious that they would not let him go. After all, guarding the spirit vein was too important. No one would listen to his orders. He, little fellow, are you very noisy? Then let this king pull out your tendons and peel off your skin. The blood-break ghost king let out a sinister laugh. Sharp claws appeared in his hands and aimed at Yi Chen. Since that's the case, I'll let you see the golden light ghost king's golden light mirror first. As he spoke, Yi Chen took out the demon-taming mirror and shone it at the sky. Immediately, 6 golden light mirrors condensed in midair and aimed at the blood-break ghost king. End of this chapter. Chapter 2305. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the sky, the blood-break ghost king moved like a ghost. His figure moved without blinking. During these illusions, Yi Chen was unable to determine the location of his true body. There were even countless illusionary phantoms appearing along the way. These phantoms were all cast in the color of blood, which was the blood-snap ghost king's life force. Yi Chen felt as if he was surrounded by bloody shadows. This kind of qi had never happened before. In the face of such an urgent situation, Yi Chen remained calm. There was no East Palace in this world that could make him completely lose control. This was the Heavenly Emperor's will that had always accompanied him. He was besieged by the bloody shadows and lost the position of the blood-break ghostly king. Behind him was the Iron Tree ghostly king and the ghostly bull king, who were staring at him with interest. They wanted to see what kind of itch would happen to him under such circumstances. After all, after being sealed for so many years, they could see an outsider break into the Ghost King Palace. This was a miracle. To them, this was a chance to prove that they still existed. They had stayed in this place for too long and had almost lost all sense of time, causing them to forget who they were. Now that someone had barged in, it made them understand that they were one of the protectors of the 18 palaces, and what they were protecting was the spirit veins of the underworld. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The ghostly shadows overlapped and the bloody light scattered. The blood-break ghost king's figure still did not appear, but the bloody shadows could not hold back their ferocity. They exploded with terrifying tearing power. They were like starving wolves and wild dogs. They did not care what was in front of them. Eating was their nature. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Countless bloody claws attacked Yi Chen. The density of these claws was enough to send shivers down one's spine. The only thing that could be seen was the glow of blood. It was unknown whether this was caused by the claws or the bloody shadows themselves. No one could tell how bizarre the attacks of these bloody shadows were. Even a heavenly immortal would not be able to dodge them. Ha ha ha! Cold laughter came from all directions. This was the voice of the blood-break ghost king. However, the source of the voice was vague and unclear. It could not be traced back to him. The killing light was right in front of him. Countless bloody shadows surrounded Yi Chen and bit at him. 10,000 miles thunder. Just when the sharp claws were about to sweep Yi Chen's cheek, the dragon-taming spear suddenly appeared. 10,000 miles thunder, invincible universe. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The violent heavenly Tao divine lightning instantly swept away the filth in front of them. All the blood shadows seemed to have been electrocuted. Their screams were like the terrified cries of evil spirits from hell. Countless blood shadows were destroyed by the lightning and dissipated. You dare to be so arrogant in front of this emperor with such puny tricks? If the Annihilation Ghostly King doesn't show his true strength, he will die. What did you say? The Demon King of Annihilation appeared angrily. He was completely enraged by Yi Chen. As the guardian of the 14th palace, he was one of the most powerful ghost kings. How could he tolerate Yi Chen's mockery? Go! Without another word, Yi Chen attacked with the dragon restraining spear again. Thunder struck the Ghost King. Duan Mia panicked even more when he saw this. Life-severing destruction. The Annihilation Ghostly King waved his claws, and a pair of ghostly claw gloves appeared on his hands. Clang, clang, clang. The Ghost King of Annihilation kept waving his ghost-clawed gauntlet and unleashed countless crimson rays that bombarded the lightning, blocking the waves of lightning. However, when he looked up, Yi Chen was already 1,000 feet away. The Ghost King of Annihilation shuddered at Yi Chen's stealthy way of advancing. He was very confident in his speed, but the person before him seemed to be as fast as him. In fact, the person before him was faster than him. Swoosh! With a flash of light, Yi Chen's spear appeared in front of the Ghost King's forehead. Clang! The ghostly claw swung and blocked the spear's edge. However, such a dangerous situation actually happened. This made the Annihilation Ghostly King feel that his strength was suppressed. Kill! With a strong rebound, the Annihilation Ghostly King activated the supreme underworld energy, stirring up waves and stirring up the wind and clouds again. Boom, boom, boom. All the space before him exploded. Wuji! Ha 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 ha, Yi Chen, are you dead? The Annihilation Ghostly King laughed wildly. He was very confident about the power of the attack. If the opponent was not prepared, he would definitely die. Suddenly, a cold figure appeared high in the sky, looking at him with disdain. You! The Annihilation Ghostly King knew that he was fooled. Yi Chen was not hurt at all. He turned around and flew up. Waving his ghostly claw, he charged at Yi Chen with the power that could tear a mountain apart. Clang, clang, clang. In the blink of an eye, the two sides clashed for 100 times. Sparks flew, lightning flashed, and ghostly shadows appeared. Annihilation Tear. The Ghost King attacked furiously. Countless ghostly claws turned into life-reaping light and attacked Yi Chen in a frenzy, trying to tear Yi Chen's body apart. The space before him shattered rapidly, the hurricane raged, and thousands of mountains shattered. Night Demon Battle Armor. Yi Chen wore the Night Demon Battle Armor and held the dragon clamping spear in his hand. Thunder rumbled all over his body as his divine power exploded. In the blink of an eye, countless ghostly claws attacked. Yi Chen waved his spear and 8 dragon energy rushed out at the same time, blasting a way out. He flew up and waved his spear, condensing the power of 9 Thunder God and the Thunder Dragon Sovereign's own law light. He attacked Universe Quake. Rumble! The majestic power concentrated and broke through the bloody light of thousands of ghostly claws and rushed at the Annihilation Ghostly King. Huh! The Ghost King turned pale with fright. All the ghostly claws retreated and guarded in front of the Annihilation Ghostly King. However, the power of Yi Chen's attack was too strong. It had a 9th stage astral core and was powerful. The majestic power was like the world was overturned, drowning the Annihilation Ghostly King. This! The Ghost King trembled in shock. Its body could not resist, and it was directly knocked down from the sky. Such a scene shocked the 24 Ghost Kings behind. They thought that Yi Chen was no match for the Annihilation Ghostly King at all, and would soon be defeated. However, it was the Annihilation Ghostly King who was knocked down. What was going on? D****. The Iron Tree King opened his eyes and punched. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The fist gleam hit the air and turned into countless sword chi. Such a divine power was strange and unpredictable. Even Yi Chen was surprised. Dragon Energy Shield. Yi Chen quickly used the Dragon Energy Shield to protect himself. The majestic dragon energy formed a super protective formation 10 meters in front of him to resist the attack of thousands of sword chi. A figure rushed out of the mist. It was the Iron Tree King. His body was covered with reverse scales and barbs, all made of steel. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. These reverse scales and barbs attacked automatically, all turning into sword chi. Such divine telekinesis controlled the sword with endless power. Ha! I can play with this. Facing the powerful Iron Tree King, Yi Chen only smiled slightly, thinking that he could have some fun. Chapter 2306. Kill! The Iron Tree King spun his body. All the steel spikes on his body stood up and turned into endless sword chi that charged at Yi Chen. The attack this time was more powerful than before. Cracks appeared on Yi Chen's dragon energy shield. Yi Chen, I'll make you pay for underestimating me. I'd like to see what kind of price you can make me pay. Yi Chen turned around and threw a punch. It charged at the Iron Tree King with the power of thunder. The latter frowned and a heavy sword appeared in his hand. As the blade turned, Yi Chen felt an unprecedented majestic sword chi. It resonated with the surroundings and countless sword gleams gathered. Ha ha ha, I'll let you have a taste of my Iron Tree Sword of Judgment. The Iron Tree King yelled. The heavy sword had no edge. The universe was boundless, and the sword was unconventional. The heavy sword slashed down. Yi Chen felt the entire sky descending. It instantly crushed his lightning fist gleam and came at his face. There was a furious roar. 8 Dragon's voice rebounded, but Yi Chen did not move at all. He relied on the dragon energy rebounding to shatter the heavy sword chi. Such a powerful stance shocked the Iron Tree King. Naturally, he knew the power of this attack. It was enough to kill a heavenly immortal. However, Yi Chen relied on his dragon energy rebounding. How confident was he in his defense? It seems like I'll have to take you seriously. The Iron Tree King looked at Yi Chen again with a serious expression. Ha, you're still far from being acknowledged by me with such a sharp sword. Iron Tree King, I think you should get the person behind you to help you. Yi Chen glanced at the Ghost Bull King behind him. The moment their eyes met, waves of profound aura collided. Even the Iron Tree King could feel the collision of the aura. It was as if heaven and earth were being split apart. It was lawless. The Iron Tree King, who was sandwiched between 2 powerhouses, instantly felt endless pressure. However, he could not leave. For the glory of the Ghost King bloodline and the determination to reclaim glory for the King of Annihilation, he had to hold on. Iron Tree blossoms. Suddenly, the Iron Tree King roared. The surrounding space instantly fell into the Iron Tree realm. He used the moment when Yi Chen and the Ghost Bull King relaxed to activate his territory. Chi chi chi. The Iron Tree barrier extended wildly. Taking advantage of the geographical advantage, it soon trapped Yi Chen within. Sword chi surged in the surroundings as the Iron Tree grew endlessly. Each branch grew a new sword chi law to trap Yi Chen's movements. It was to trap Yi Chen inside Sister Tai Shu. Once Yi Chen's limbs were trapped, the advantage of the heavy sword would be revealed. This was the Iron Tree King's plan. What kind of person was Yi Chen? He could see through the Iron Tree King's scheme at a glance. However, his momentary distraction had given the Iron Tree King a chance. Yi Chen did not care because he needed this kind of trial. Iron Tree King, don't disappoint me in the Iron Tree Law realm. Ha ha ha, Yi Chen brat, I'll show you the true meaning of hell. Iron Tree Hell. Drawing upon the supreme might of the Dharma realm, the Iron Tree King released his own laws of sword energy and blood, causing the Dharma realm to ascend and evolve into the Iron Tree Hell world. Kacha, kacha, kacha. Countless iron trees burst out of the ground, shattering the massive rocks and breaking through many peaks. They were like living steel, constantly extending themselves, and the direction they extended was with Yi Chen as the center. Of course, Yi Chen would not sit and wait for death. He brandished the spear in his hand, and a spear gleam swept out in all directions. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. These spear gleams triggered a whirlwind of divine power, wanting to sweep through the area and break these iron trees. It was successful in the beginning. Many iron trees were broken by this whirlwind of divine power, but soon, the iron trees bloomed and grew again. This was how an indestructible barrier worked. Ah! At this moment, the Ghost King of Annihilation laughed out loud. Yi Chen, you can break through my Blood Shadow Dharma realm, but you can't break through the Iron Tree King's Iron Tree Hell. Kneel and surrender now. How dare a loser talk nonsense? Go. Yi Chen looked to the side. Suddenly, a sword gleam shot out from between his brows. It was like a meteor chasing the moon. It was extremely fast and instantly interrupted the Ghost King of Annihilation. With that, the Ghost King of Annihilation felt his spirit scatter, and he was in extreme pain. It turned out that when the sword gleam entered his brain, it had instantly swept through his entire brain, causing him to fall into boundless madness. No. The Ghost King of Annihilation tried to regain his senses, but it was too late. Yi Chen's divine telekinesis manipulation sword had turned his mind upside down, causing him to completely lose control of himself. Ghost King of Annihilation! The Iron Tree King shouted, but the Ghost King of Annihilation did not respond. It was obvious that the Ghost King of Annihilation's origin energy had been severed by Yi Chen's sword, and he had fallen into a state of confusion. At this moment, the Ghost Bull King crossed his arms in front of his chest with a solemn expression. He did not expect Yi Chen to be so powerful that he, who originally had no intention of fighting, became interested. After all, if even the Iron Tree King failed, he could protect the final glory. Ghost Bull King, save the Ghost King of Annihilation. There's no need to save a piece of trash like him. You'd better kill this person quickly. Otherwise, both of you will be the sinners of the 18 palaces and will not be forgiven. You! The Iron Tree King looked at the Ghost Bull King coldly, but now was not the time to bicker with him. Only by defeating Yi Chen could he protect the 18 palaces' glory. Iron Tree Halberd! At the command, the boundless land grew wildly. Sword gleams whistled and halberds appeared. Anyone within would die. Seeing countless sword mistresses growing from the iron tree below, Yi Chen suddenly tossed the holy monument. Buddha Emperor Holy Monument! The holy monument instantly transformed from a 3-inch object into a towering pagoda that was as large as a mountain. Suppress! Hiss, hiss, hiss! The holy monument was guided by Yi Chen's command and emitted a supreme Buddha light. It was the Buddha Emperor's law. The Buddha light was vast and mighty, shaking the world. The halberds that attacked Yi Chen earlier shattered when they came into contact with the Buddha light. Moreover, the holy monument's suppression was even more powerful. The Iron Tree Dharma realm was restrained. Impossible! Seeing that his Dharma realm was restrained by the Buddha Emperor Holy Monument and could not be used, the Iron Tree King fell into despair. Trash! The Ghost Bull King cursed. He had no choice but to attack. Yi Chen turned around and stared at the Ghost Bull King. This person's strength was far above the Iron Tree King and the King of Annihilation. It would not be easy to defeat this person. Moreover, from Yi Chen's perspective, there were still 2 more palaces. It would be an even more tragic battle. He had to conserve his strength. Ghost Bull King, you've finally attacked. This is also your last act of arrogance. Yi Chen, if I attack, it means your death. The Ghost Bull King's eyes flashed with blood-red light. Instantly, his 6 arms and 8 legs moved at the same time. The surrounding space rapidly changed. The space-time distortion caused by the 3 palaces' destruction gathered toward the Ghost Bull King and extended. Chapter 2307. The Holy Monument had been activated and the Iron Tree Dharma realm was completely suppressed by Yi Chen. The Ghost Bull King could not bear to watch any longer. He did not want to waste any more time here because he had already sensed the sounds of battle from the 17th palace. The intensity of the battle there was not inferior to this one at all. In fact, it might even be stronger. In the face of such a unique situation, he could not bear it any longer. Originally, the 18 palaces did not interact with each other. However, Yi Chen had caused too much of a commotion in the 13 palaces, breaking the spatial barrier. Now that the 3 kings had appeared in the same palace at the same time, they had broken the rules. Their ultimate mission was to guard the spirit vein. Now that so many people were interested in the spirit vein, the guardians no longer needed these decadent boundaries. Naturally, the Iron Tree King had also sensed the situation in the 17th palace. They had to quickly finish off Yi Chen and head to the 17th palace. You guys seem to be very anxious. Meanwhile, Yi Chen keenly noticed these flaws. With a single sentence, he provoked the Iron Tree King and the Ghost Bull King's intense fighting spirit. Yi Chen, you're too arrogant and condescending. You'll be consigned to eternal damnation, the Iron Tree King roared. Ha ha ha, little human, you're so confident. I'm surprised. But everything is coming to an end. I'm going to clean up the mess. The Ghost Bull King sneered and waved his 6 arms. Immediately, 6 devil weapons appeared in his 6 hands. Go! He waved his hand forward, and a saber, a sword, and a gourd flew out at the same time, staring at the Buddha-light sacred steel. Yi Chen scanned the 3 demonic weapons in front of him and found that they were all supreme-grade immortal weapons. All 3 of them had locked onto the holy monument at the same time, causing the holy monument to feel immense pressure. Immortal slaying flying saber, heavenly Dharch sword. Naturally, he would not let the other party have their way. The immortal slaying flying saber and the heavenly Dharch sword were unsheathed and suspended in midair, guarding the sage monument. Clang, clang, clang. Instantly, the 6 divine weapons clashed against each other. The scene was so grand that it didn't lose out to a battle of life and death between powerhouses. Such a scene was soul-stirring and crazy. Nice. Yi Chen realized that it was a good opportunity to train himself as he faced 2 kings at the same time. He chanted the Buddhist Emperor Confusion mantra, and the 9 heavenly Taos appeared. ZZZ. Countless heavenly Tao and Buddhist chants persisted on the sage monument. The sage monument shone brightly and nourished the immortal slaying flying saber and the heavenly Dharch sword. Immediately, the 2 divine weapons' powers multiplied. Clang, clang, clang. In the clash of the divine weapons, the immortal slaying flying saber and the celestial Dharch sword clearly had the upper hand. The Ghost Bull King's 3 devil weapons were restricted, which triggered the wrath of the Ghost King. He stretched out his 6 arms and released all 6 of his devil weapons. In an instant, ghostly wails and wolf howls resounded, and the sky darkened. This was the sign of an aura of death sweeping across. Ha! Profound sword, wandering dragon sword. Yi Chen was not to be outdone. 2 heavenly soldiers appeared again, giving him an even greater advantage. With the support of the holy tablets Buddha-light, the 4 heavenly soldiers suppressed the 6 demonic soldiers. ZZZ. The outcome of the battle between the divine weapons had been decided. Yi Chen had the upper hand as the Ghost Bull King's 6 demonic weapons had been defeated. Iron Tree King, go. All right. The Iron Tree King had been preparing for a long time. When he felt that the time was right, he swung his heavy sword once more. Edgeless heavy sword, sky-piercing slash. Boom! Above the 9 heavens, between the layers of clouds, the shadow of an extremely powerful heavy sword slashed down. The majestic sword gleam could surpass the limits of time and space. It arrived before Yi Chen in an instant. It was insufferably arrogant. Ha ha ha, Yi Chen, you're dead. Seeing that Yi Chen was being restrained by the Ghost Bull King, the Iron Tree King used all his strength to slash down, vowing to kill him. Just as the majestic sword gleam was about to slash down on Yi Chen's head, a majestic figure appeared behind him. It was a 3-star ancient god. Clang! The ancient god stretched out his arms and put his palms together. He caught the white blade with his bare hands and controlled the descending sword gleam from the sky. What? The Iron Tree King was incomparably shocked. His ultimate heavy sword was blocked by Yi Chen. What exactly was this majestic figure before him? Why did it have such unshakable power? Before the ancient god, the Iron Tree King felt how insignificant he was and how unfathomable the entire world was. Unparalleled ancient god, smelt. With a single thought, a majestic heavenly furnace appeared behind the ancient god. On his arms, molten lava from the heavenly furnace was drawn, constantly corroding the heavenly sword's sword gleam from his arms. In the blink of an eye, the huge sword gleam was corroded by the heavenly furnace until nothing was left. Swish, swish, swish. The sword gleam disappeared and the crisis was resolved. This. The Iron Tree King was completely stunned. How could there be such a powerful person? He was only a mystic immortal. How could he be like a god? The Ghost Bull King sighed deeply. His body was also growing rapidly. In less than half an hour, the Ghost Bull King's body was as vast as a mountain as he charged toward the 3-star ancient god. Clang! The ancient god stretched out his arm to block the Ghost Bull King's attack. However, the Ghost Bull King's 6 arms attacked at the same time, making it impossible for the ancient god to dodge. Dai Yi Chen. The Ghost Bull King released countless fist gleams, wanting to crush Yi Chen. At this moment, sensing that Yi Chen was in danger, the heavenly snake Black Tortoise appeared again. Raging waves, Black Tortoise armor. Countless waves turned into the Black Tortoise armor, blocking in front of the ancient god, completely nullifying the Ghost Bull King's attack. D*Eminent. The Ghost Bull King cursed. He began to gather energy in his mouth, preparing to shoot the Death Ray Nether Energy Wave. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Seeing that the huge basin-like mouth was about to unleash the ultimate destructive power, Yi Chen's brows were cold. He used the 3-star ancient god's ultimate ability. Die. The Ghost Bull King used the ultimate Nether Energy Wave. The Nether Energy Wave could not be stopped. It broke through all obstacles and reached Yi Chen. 3-star ancient god, 8 trigrams reversal. Just when the Ghost Bull King thought that Yi Chen was dead, Yi Chen used the 3-star ancient god's ultimate technique. The Death Ray Nether Energy Wave was multiplied and returned. Ah! The Ghost Bull King's eyes widened. He did not expect Yi Chen to have such a move. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Boom, boom, boom. Under the bombardment of the Nether Energy Wave, the Ghost Bull King's huge body collapsed. His entire body was bleeding, but he did not look. This was the consequence of going against Yi Chen. Seeing that even the Ghost Bull King had failed, the Iron Tree King was terrified. Should he continue to fight? Get out of my way! Yi Chen roared. The Iron Tree King knelt on the ground, not daring to move. As for the Ghost Bull King, because it was too heavily injured, it could not continue to stop Yi Chen. Riding the Black Tortoise, Yi Chen broke through the restraints of the 3 kings and walked toward the second-to-last palace. In the 17th palace, the battle was unusually tense. The 7th source released the source's mutated power and the poisonous Dragon Ghost King used the terrain advantage to forcefully block it. Boom, boom, boom. The power of both sides intersected and exploded, causing the peaks to collapse. The battle had reached a climax. Chapter 2308. Yi Chen steered the Black Tortoise through the spatial barrier and into the outskirts of the 17th palace. What he saw was a sea of poison churning and the sun and moon dimming. The space around him had been completely shattered by the 7th origin, and the Dragon King's venom domain had already spread out like an ocean. Although the 7th origin was strong, it could not break through. After all, the poison was too strong for it to enter. You people who want to obtain the spiritual vein are destined to rot in my sea of venom. Sensing Yi Chen's approach, the Poison Dragon King unleashed its ultimate venom. PSSSD, PSSSD, PSSSD. Endless amounts of venom surged up from the ground, spraying in all directions. The venom fused with the venom domain, making anyone within it feel as if they were being stabbed in the back. Roar! Sensing the invasion of the powerful venom, the Black Tortoise roared and used the Dragon Energy Shield and Water Shield to resist the venom. The 7th origin also sensed Yi Chen's presence and smirked. Celestial Emperor Yi Chen, we meet again. 7th origin, I didn't think that the evil spirits would want the spirit vein of the underworld. The spirit vein is birthed by heaven and earth. Anyone can have it. Letting it fall into the hands of the evil spirits is the greatest glory. The seventh origin was determined to get its hands on Zero. It had already sent a message through the mutated power of the evil spirit fountainhead. As soon as the sixth origin received the message, it would naturally take action. All he had to do was hold them off until reinforcements arrived. What he did not know was that the abyss of evil spirits was currently in dire strait. The arrival of the Darkness Emperor and Ling Wang had increased the pressure on the sixth origin. Invading the abyss of evil spirits is no different from seeking death. The magical martial world and the primordial immortal world will be destroyed. Although the sixth origin was facing two experts, its momentum was still formidable. As one of the upper middle powers of the origin, it had to hold its own against these two and show the other factions the might of the origin. PSSSD, PSSSD, PSSSD. As they spoke, the ground below them surged with dark energy. All sorts of dark tentacles rose up from the ground like mountain peaks and madly rushed toward the Darkness Emperor and Ling Huang. Paltry tricks, sixth origin. You're looking down on us a bit too much. The Darkness Monarch sneered. He raised his hand and demonic energy surged into the sky, transforming into a massive demonic blade that slashed downwards. Instantly, the ground collapsed and the stars dimmed. The blade radiated brilliantly, and all the tentacles were instantly destroyed. But then, the ground below split open, and countless fell energy warriors rushed out, rushing toward the two powerhouses. Ha ha ha! A rabble that's like an ant dares to act rashly? This time, it was Ling Huang's turn. With a psionic finger, the heavens and earth shook. A beam of light swept across the battlefield, and the tens of thousands of fell warriors below turned into dust. You! The sixth origin's eyes narrowed, and a vicious expression appeared on its face. The power of the source mutation. He activated the power of the source mutation, wanting to fight the two powerhouses head-on. Meanwhile, at Thousand Blade Peak in the underworld, Yi Chen entered the 13th palace and saw Toxic Dragon battling the 7th origin. Neither side was willing to give way to the other, but when they saw Yi Chen, they both stopped fighting. After all, anyone who could make it this far was the strongest of the strongest. Poison Dragon King, do you still want to persist? Yi Chen asked. Oh, kid, you want to help this person? The Poison Dragon King asked with a cold smile, seemingly unperturbed by the current situation. My goal is to obtain the spiritual vein. Anyone who stops me from obtaining the spiritual vein is my enemy. Ha ha ha, evil spirits wreak havoc in the world, harming the 6 realms. Kid, I see that you have nether divine power, and have a deep relationship with the underworld. Why don't you work with me and get rid of this person? At this point, the 7th origin's expression changed. He had learned from the Poison Dragon King that Yi Chen had such a relationship with the underworld. In that case, would Yi Chen really help the Poison Dragon King against him? Yi Chen had just gone on a killing spree in the abyss of evil spirits, and was unstoppable. Now, if he joined forces with the Poison Dragon King, even the 7th origin would find it difficult to resist. Thinking of this, the 7th origin frowned, and his heart trembled. He quickly looked at Yi Chen and said, "Ha, don't listen to this person. Yi Chen, if you want to obtain the spirit vein, you must work with the source. You should know very well that this is only the 17th palace. The real test is in the 18th palace. Without the source's help, do you really think you can safely enter the 18th palace and obtain the spirit vein core?" Hearing the Poison Dragon King and the 7th origin's choices, Yi Chen smiled slightly and held his chin. Right now, the entire situation seemed to be under his control. Whoever he helped would have a higher chance of winning. That's right, 7th origin. With this kind of power, I really don't know what kind of monster you'll face when you reach the 18th palace. Your suggestion is not bad. That's right. Let's kill the Poison Dragon King together, then charge into the 18th palace and seize the spirit vein. Yi Chen Yu. The Poison Dragon King was enraged. The poison dragon king swung its tail, and poison splashed 10 meters high. The seventh origin waved its claws in response to such a large-scale poison attack. Instantly, the earth trembled and the weather changed. The dark energy drew upon the source's power, forming a dark energy mountain range that frantically blocked the poison. With such a counter, the poison dragon king's attack missed. Rushing ninth heaven thunder palm. Yi Chen's palm shot out, and the power of lightning shot toward the poison dragon king. Yi Chen, you'll pay for your choice. I've said it before, no matter who stands in my way, they must die. Yi Chen's eyes shone with a murderous light. The vigorous power of lightning turned into destructive sword rays that shot toward the poison dragon king. At that moment, thousand-edge peaks array formation exploded. Countless stone swords fell off, forming a massive sword shape that shot downward. Boom, boom, boom. There was a shocking explosion. Yi Chen's rushing thunder palm instantly disappeared, unable to take another step forward. Yi Chen looked up at the sky and realized that they had entered thousand-edge peaks encirclement. They were surrounded by mountains, and within these mountains, there was a powerful and strange energy. This energy was filled with demonic energy, underworld energy, and even some unknown energy. The energy fluctuations seemed to be telling everyone that there was a hidden power within Thousand Edge Peak. Ha ha ha, you can't bear the wrath of Thousand Edge Peak. At that moment, the poison dragon king laughed loudly, as if the Jiahui he had been waiting for had arrived. Yi Chen and the seventh origin became vigilant at the same time. Thousand Edge Peak was very strange to begin with, and the various energies contained within it had come from. Both of them had wanted to investigate before, but before the strange energy of Thousand Edge Peak, all methods of investigation had been blocked. It would not be easy to get the real answer. No matter what kind of powerful energy it contains, I must obtain the underworld spirit vein today. Yi Chen took a step forward, and his powerful divine power swept out. He actually cleared a path in the Poison Dragon King's poison domain. Chapter 2309. In the Dark Spirit Abyss, the sixth origin battled Ling Wang and the Darkness Emperor. Despite all of their schemes, they were still at a disadvantage. Sixth origin, where are the other origins? The Darkness Emperor asked coldly. Ha ha ha, no comment. The sixth origin roared with laughter, still fearless. If you don't tell me, I'll completely destroy the Dark Spirit Abyss so that the evil spirits won't be able to descend. You. Ling Wang pointed his hand at the center of the Dark Spirit Abyss, where the altar was. If it was destroyed, then the evil spirit's plan would be in vain. Under such circumstances, the sixth origin made up its mind and said, you still don't know, do you? What? Ling Wang asked. According to the seventh origin, Yi Chen is looking for the underworld spirit vein and is about to succeed. The underworld spirit vein. Ling Wang and the Darkness Emperor were shocked. As old combatants of this level, they naturally knew about the legend of the spirit vein. According to the legend, whoever obtained the six realm spirit vein could rule the six realms and become the sole ruler. Therefore, this was of very important confidence for them. Naturally, they did not dare to be careless. The Darkness Emperor stepped forward and asked, "So the seventh origin has gone to the underworld?" "That's right. If you want to rise, hurry to the underworld and get a piece of the pie." Ling Wang and the Darkness Emperor exchanged a glance. If they fought to the death with the sixth origin, although they could kill him, they would have to pay a terrible price. It was better to hurry to the underworld and find the core of the spirit vein to accomplish their great cause. Sixth origin, you betrayed your own brother. You're really something. Ha 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 ha, sixth origin, we'll take our leave now. With that, Ling Wang and the Darkness Emperor flew up and disappeared without a trace. Execute the evil spirit's plan immediately. After Ling Wang and the Darkness Emperor left, the sixth origin looked coldly at the combatants behind it and shouted angrily. Yes, The combatants were still shocked by the Sixth Origin's betrayal, but once they heard the order, they had to obey. This was what the evil spirits had engraved in their genes. After that, the Sixth Origin quickly returned to its palace and closed its eyes to rest, waiting to execute the spell. After leaving the abyss of evil spirits, Ling Huang and the Darkness Emperor returned to their own territories. They led the powerhouses to make preparations and set off for the underworld together. At the entrance to the underworld, two majestic fleets descended. They were the armies of the Demon Martial Empire and the Primordial Immortal Empire. Inside the Netherworld, Patriarch Yellow Spring and the others received the news through the defensive formation. Old Ancestor Netherworld, it's the army of the Demon Martial Empire and the Primordial Immortal Empire. Why would they appear outside the Netherworld at the same time? Old Ancestor Netherworld asked in confusion. Looks like these two clans have really joined forces. This is bad. The Patriarch of Hell's brows twitched as his eyes focused. He was worried about Yi Chun. What should we do? An expert asked. Before the Dharch left, he said that we must not act rashly. We must protect the last spiritual land of the Netherworld and cultivate the Buddha Emperor's mantra. Yes. Now that Yi Chun had left, the Patriarch of Hell was the most powerful person here. Everyone obeyed his orders. In the distant sky, the rumbling sounds of explosions rang out continuously. It was Liang Dajuan who had activated the charging beam and destroyed the underworld's array formation. Boom! The two fleets entered the Netherworld in a grandiose manner and headed toward Thousand Blade Peak. Inside Thousand Blade Peak, on the 17th palace, the Poison Dragon King was confident. The surrounding Thousand Blade Peak was in a frenzy. Countless strange energies drifted toward them, causing Yi Chun and the Seventh Origin to sink into a tense atmosphere. Yi Chun looked coldly at Thousand Blade Peak. Countless dark energies drifted in the air. He could sense an extremely powerful mixed energy. Who was ruling over Thousand Blade Peak? The answer to this question was very complicated, but now he had to get past the Poison Dragon King. Seventh Origin, do it. Ha! Let's do it together. Kill. Yi Chun's eyes turned cold as he unleashed his sword force. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the blink of an eye, endless sword force swept across the entire area. The Poison Dragon King could not do anything as he was suppressed by Yi Chun. Using this opportunity, Yi Chun and the Seventh Origin arrived above the Poison Domain and looked down from above. Ninth Heaven Thunder Palm, Azura Heaven Shaking Slash. Yi Chun unleashed another palm seal, all of which were life-taking abilities, and went straight for the Poison Dragon King. At the same time, the Seventh Origin unleashed its mutated power. Countless evil horns appeared all over its body and grew endlessly. These evil horns grew endlessly until they turned into sharp blades that stabbed toward the Poison Dragon King. Soon, they arrived in front of the Poison Dragon King. Kakik. The Poison Dragon King did not panic at all in the face of two great murderous intents. It must have something to rely on. Thousand Blade Peak, demonic energy. The Poison Dragon King opened its giant mouth and madly absorbed the strange energy flowing from Thousand Blade Peak. After absorbing this energy, its power increased 100-fold, and its strength could not be contained. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, the entire gambling domain exploded again, causing all the surrounding energy to surge toward the core of the poison. Using the demonic energy, the Poison Dragon King launched a powerful counterattack. Poison Rush, go! The Poison Dragon King opened its giant mouth and madly spewed at the two people in the sky. Countless green poisonous lights bombarded the sky, the attack frequency increasing, making it impossible for the two people to dodge. How can this person's strength improve so much? The Seventh Origin asked in confusion. Yi Chun looked coldly at Thousand Blade Peak. The Poison Dragon King's great increase in strength was obviously related to Thousand Blade Peak, but what was the specific relationship? At this moment there was no time to think too much. Yi Chen took out a divine artifact. It was the immortal drift bottle. Pangu immortal drift bottle. High up in the sky, Yi Chen held the immortal drift bottle and released its power. Instantly, the endless poison was absorbed by the immortal drift bottle. The boundless, ocean-like poison domain was completely absorbed by the immortal drift bottle without any resistance. What? The Poison Dragon King had painstakingly obtained the power of demonic energy and the support of Thousand Blade Peak. Now it was all for naught. How could he tolerate this? Poison Underworld Path. With a sudden cold shout, the Poison Dragon King activated the ultimate venom law. All the poison sacs in his body opened up, like an endless poison gas generator, madly releasing poison gas into the surrounding environment. He swore to shatter the immortal drift bottle and crush Yi Chen and the seventh origin. Ha, it's just for me to make materials. Up in the sky, Yi Chen smiled coldly. He was not afraid at all. The immortal drift bottle was like an endless universe. No matter how much poison gas or poison there was, it would all be absorbed. The Poison Dragon King panted, his body exhausted, but it still had no effect. You. Pfft. The Poison Dragon King spat out a mouthful of blood, unable to release poison gas again. Chapter 23:10. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect you to defeat the Poison Dragon King. Thank you for your help. Just as the Poison Dragon King was unable to get up, the seventh origin flew toward the 18th palace, trying to snatch the spirit vein core. Yi Chen did not rush to chase after it. Instead, he watched the 17th palace from the sidelines. After the battle in the 17th palace, Yi Chen realized that the most mysterious thing about the 18 nether temples was the strange energy in Thousand Blade Peak. It could easily raise the Poison Dragon King's power to such a level. If there really was a powerhouse in Thousand Blade Peak, it was not on the same level as the Poison Dragon King. At the back of the 17th palace, the door opened. The strange energy was still spreading. The seventh origin rushed in but saw nothing. There was no physical body. What's going on? He thought he could see the spirit vein, but he was wrong. Not only did he not see the spirit vein, but the way back had disappeared. Outside, Yi Chen saw that the seventh origin had stopped, not knowing what it was doing. Seeing that the seventh origin was frozen like a wooden chicken, Yi Chen realized that this was not normal. He might have fallen into some kind of mind control. At the same time, the spirit kings of the 14th, 15th, and 16th palaces also arrived. Although they had been seriously injured by Yi Chen, they still had basic combat strength. Ha ha ha, you're all finished! The Ghost Bull King shouted at Yi Chen. The seventh origin had disappeared into the dark energy. At the same time, the entire space was shaking. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle! But now 2 magnificent warships appeared in the sky. It was the Darkness Emperor and Ling Huang. The two stood in front of their respective warships, looking down coldly at the powerhouses, as if they were judges, high above. Ha 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 ha, it's just as the sixth origin said, Yi Chen. The Darkness Emperor locked his cold eyes on Yi Chen and laughed. Yi Chen looked up at the sky. The matter of the spirit vein could not be concealed. The seventh origin must have notified the sixth origin, but he had been betrayed. The appearance of the Darkness Emperor and Ling Huang made the situation even more chaotic. Sensing the immortal and demonic energy, Yi Chen knew that they were from the demon martial world and the primordial immortal world. The demon martial world and the primordial immortal world had invaded the spirit realm many times. This time, these two were far stronger than the others. They were the masters of the two worlds. Yi Chen, do you recognize me? The Darkness Emperor asked. Who? How disdainful. Do you really think that you're invincible just because you defeated Explosive Demon Monarch? I am the leader of the Devil Martial World. This time, the Netherworld Spirit Vein is mine. Demon Martial World. A disdainful smile appeared on Yi Chen's face. There were too many people who wanted the Spirit Vein. It did not matter if one more person from the demon martial world appeared. Ling Wang also locked onto Yi Chen at the same time. Several perfected masters had come to the spirit realm and were killed. He would also blame this on Yi Chen. Boom! Just as the experts were plotting against each other, a ripple appeared in the sky once again. Countless strange auras spread out, causing the entire space of the 18 nether halls to tremble. As for the Ghost Bull King and the others, they all had crazed smiles on their faces. It was as if the person they worshipped the most was about to appear. Ha ha! You're all going to die here. The hell of Avicii has revealed itself. You're all going to die. Devil Breath Chakravarti King, ha ha! Before the demonic breath, everything shall perish. The 14th, 15th, and 16th Ghost Kings bowed to welcome the Chakravarti King. High up in the sky, countless strange auras condensed into a huge figure. A huge will spun continuously behind it. Its entire body emanated boundless ghostly energy. It was like a primordial giant looking down on all the combatants. Ling Wang and the Darkness Emperor were still not in the mood to target Yi Chen because they could feel the immense pressure coming from the sky. This pressure could completely affect their martial heart. This meant that the existence in the thousand-blade peak with the demonic breath was unfathomably powerful, even suppressing them. The Darkness Emperor and Ling Wang exchanged a glance and then revealed solemn expressions. Among the armies of the demon martial world and the primordial immortal world, many warriors were suppressed by the Devil Breath Chakravarti King's powerful psyche. They all revealed expressions of terror and even collapsed to the ground. The seventh origin that had entered the 18 palaces had disappeared without a trace. No one knew if it was dead or alive. The immense power of the wheel caused the warships of the demon martial world and the primordial immortal world to sink and fall. Rumble! Finally, the two warships fell from the sky. It was a grand scene. The Chakravarti King's eyes were also wheels, constantly spinning. Countless runes were spinning in them, constantly releasing strange auras. The great Tao of the wheel, kneel for eternity. The majestic voice descended forcefully, suppressing the auras of the powerhouses. Its might was unstoppable. The power of the entire thousand-blade peak enveloped the Chakravarti King's body, circulating, making his figure even more majestic, like a god. When the powerhouses saw this, they felt a little better about Yi Chen. The Chakravarti King was definitely too powerful. If they wanted to fight him, they would have to join forces. Ha ha, all of you die. The Poison Dragon King and the other Ghost Kings laughed maniacally. They could finally see the Chakravarti King avenge them. The countless peaks of the thousand-blade peak released their own power. This power was formed by the countless powerhouses who had died here. It was instilled into the wheels on the back of the Chakravarti King. The powerhouses felt as if they had fallen into the Avicii hell. Yi Chen stepped on the black tortoise, his body glowing with Buddhist light, resisting the energy of the wheel. However, this Buddhist light immediately attracted the attention of the Chakravarti King. 6 paths revolving, die. The Chakravarti King threw several wheels at Yi Chen. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The dragon-taming spear came out to protect its master. The power of the heavenly path thunder swept across the wheels. Boom, boom, boom. The wheels shattered one after another, unable to resist the divine dragon-taming thunder. Ling Wang and the Darkness Emperor were watching the show. If Yi Chen died at the hands of the Chakravarti King, the latter would be able to exhaust the latter. Ling Wang, we have to form the formation immediately. This monster is too powerful. Understood. Ling Wang and the Darkness Emperor joined forces and began to form the formation. High up in the sky, Yi Chen looked at the Chakravarti King coldly. Countless ghostly energy surrounded the Chakravarti King. Then, the thousand-blade peak floated and turned into sharp mountain swords, aiming at Yi Chen. Thousand-blade array! The Chakravarti King roared. The thousand-blade peak turned into a sword array and flew out. Swish, swish, swish. The countless peaks were unstoppable, crushing toward Yi Chen. Dragon Fang Fist, 100 dragons split the sky. Yi Chen mobilized the dragon energy in his body and turned it into 100 dragon fist gleam, counterattacking. Boom, boom, boom. In the blink of an eye, the 1,000-blade array and the 100 dragon fist gleam crashed into each other. The sky was filled with chaos. It was impossible to see what was happening. Dust scattered. Yi Chen stood on the black tortoise, aiming the lightning spear at the Chakravarti king. Thunder Dragon Sovereign, 9 refinements divine spear. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Endless power of thunder and lightning gathered. At the same time, the heavenly furnace released its smelting power, increasing the energy density of the thunder and lightning by 100 times. Chapter 23:11. Yi Chen was actually able to stand up to the Chakravarti king. Such a feat shocked Ling Wang. The Darkness Emperor and the other combatants all wore solemn expressions. The current situation was complicated and difficult to predict. They could only adapt to the situation. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Above the 9 heavens, the Chakra King was surrounded by 9 divine thunders. With the support of the furnace of heaven and earth, even the Chakra King, who was as majestic as a mountain, was momentarily entangled. While he was catching his breath, Yi Chen scanned the area coldly, searching for the location of the spirit vein. This time, his only goal was the spirit vein. He would save everything else if he could. Therefore, Yi Chen was not determined to kill the Chakra King. Demon's Eye. Yi Chen activated the eye of the underworld deity's demon eye and searched for the location of the spirit vein through the power of the same origin. All sorts of information flowed into Yi Chen's mind. As expected, there were countless strange energies around the Chakra King, blocking Yi Chen's vision. He could not see where the spirit vein core was. Time was of the essence, and Yi Chen did not hesitate. He flew out and searched on his own. Keep an eye on him. Ling Wang signaled, and the primordial immortal Chong Su from the primordial immortal world flew out and stared at Yi Chen. One of the Devil Martial World's devil generals received the Sovereign Emperor's order at the same time and executed a similar operation. Yi Chen did not care about the Demon Martial World and the Primordial Immortal World's pursuit at all. These small fries were nothing to him. The only thing he needed to pay attention to now was the demonic breath Chakravarti King. The 9 thunder gods were still fighting the Chakravarti King. This was Yi Chen's chance. Yi Chen continued to fly and passed through countless peaks. The ghostly energy in 1,000-blade peak was getting thicker and the powerful energy of the Chakravarti King seeped out. This energy had even sensed Yi Chen's presence and began to take form. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Their auras condensed and took form as they went after Yi Chen. Kill, kill, kill. All kinds of murderous sounds could be heard everywhere, and the ghostly aura was dense. Immortal Slaying Flying Saber. Yes, Master. The Immortal Slaying Flying Saber rushed out of the ancient god space and charged into the group of little ghosts that had taken form, killing them in a frenzy. Meanwhile, more and more imps were taking form in front of him. Moreover, these imps were clearly more powerful than the previous ones. However, Yi Chen was overjoyed. This meant that he was heading in the right direction. He was heading toward the energy core. Roar. As expected, a very powerful great demon had appeared up ahead. The aura of these demonic humans was clearly 1 order of magnitude stronger compared to the imps they encountered earlier. Clearly, they possessed the strength of heavenly immortals. Kill, kill, kill. These great demons' killing intent grew stronger. They unleashed their mystical abilities and secret techniques to target Yi Chen. Everything in front of him was overwhelming. Netherworld energy, ghostly energy, and demonic energy surged into the sky, limitless. Heavenly Dharch sword, heaven and earth standing. In front of his goal, no one could stop him. This was the dignity and confidence of a celestial emperor. The celestial Dharch sword was unsheathed, and the entire path ahead was slashed open. Even though a group of great demons appeared, they were still unable to resist the slash of the celestial Dharch sword. Boom! A powerful sword might filled the 9 heavens, and a pillar of light shot out in all directions. Ah, ah, ah! All the great devils were sent flying. In front of the absolute power of the heavenly sword, even if they had the strength of heaven immortals, they would still be defeated. Like a meteor, Yi Chen flew past in a dazzling manner, heading straight for the energy core. Zzz. The demonic ray swept across a radius of 1,000 miles, instantly triggering boundless energy reflection, allowing Yi Chen to locate the final energy core. It was under an abyss of the demon breath 1,000-blade peak. Descend. Yi Chen stomped hard, and the land within a radius of 100 miles collapsed. His figure followed the collapse and fell into the abyss. The primordial immortal world and devil martial world combatants following Yi Chen could not keep up with his pace. They only saw him falling into the abyss and sent messages to Ling Huang and the Darkness Emperor. The two of them received the message and flew toward Yi Chen's direction, leaving behind 2 warships to cooperate with the 9 Thunder Gods to stop the Demon Breath Chakra King's majestic figure. Zzz. On the warships, demonic energy and immortal energy blasts were constantly fired, trying to delay the Chakra King as much as possible so that he could not stop the others from finding the Spirit Vein core. Below, the Ghost Bull King, the Poison Dragon King, and the other combatants attacked. Kill! The armies of the primordial immortal world and devil martial world also rushed toward them and fought. The abyss ahead was greatly stimulated by the demonic eye. The Spirit Vein core emitted heaven-reaching dark energy that shot up to the sky. Ah! Yi Chen was going to face this powerful blasts and go down. One could imagine the difficulty that he had to overcome. Dragon Fang Fist, 1,000 dragons shaking the mountains. Roar. Yi Chen unleashed the second form of the Dragon Fang Fist, the might of 1,000 dragons. He forcefully suppressed the blasts from the Spirit Vein core and continued to descend. Above the abyss, Ling Huang and the Darkness Emperor had already arrived. However, affected by the powerful blasts, they could not keep up with Yi Chen immediately. "We can't go on like this," Ling Huang said. "What do you mean?" the Emperor asked. Ling Huang looked down coldly and said, "We can't catch up to Yi Chen even if we keep going like this. We can only use our strength to break the blasts in front of us." That makes sense. The two of them began to use their own method. Waves of demonic energy and immortal energy turned into light balls at the same time, gathered together, and rushed toward the abyss below. Rumble! The two of them joined forces and their power shook the sky. They instantly broke the Spirit Vein's blasts and helped them descend rapidly. Below the abyss, the Spirit Vein continued to attack. Endless energy exploded like a torrential river, unstoppable. Sky-shaking step. Of course, Yi Chen sensed the arrival of the two of them. Power rose under his feet again. With the sky-shaking step, the power of space twisted rapidly, increasing Yi Chen's speed. This kid can still speed up. The Darkness Emperor was shocked. "Let's do it together." "All right." The two of them increased their power again to keep up with Yi Chen's speed. Outside, the shadow of the demonic aura Chakravarti sensed the three of them entering the abyss of 1,000-blade peak and was instantly enraged. Demonic Wheel Heavenly Crusade. With a roar, the demonic wheels of heaven and earth rose one after another, turning into endless destructive wheels that rampaged in all directions like the wrath of a god or the spread of a demon's wings. Boom, boom, boom. The surrounding space exploded rapidly. Yi Chen's 9 bolts of Thunder God power were instantly destroyed. At the same time, the Heavenly Crusade demonic wheel continued to destroy. The primordial immortal world and the demon martial world's armies were instantly destroyed, their warships destroyed. Blood flowed like a river and corpses piled up like a mountain. The Chakravarti king turned to look at the abyss of 1,000-blade peak and grabbed the ground with his hand. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The majestic power poured into the earth vein and connected to the core of the spirit vein. In the abyss, the spirit vein was just about to reach the Chakravarti king's power. Endless wheels rushed out of the spirit vein and attacked Yi Chen and the other two indiscriminately. Dragon Energy Shield. Yi Chen released the Dragon Energy Shield to resist the wheel's power. Ling Wang and the Darkness Emperor moved at the same time, releasing their divine and demonic abilities. However, the wheel's power continued and its power gradually increased. The three of them were under pressure at the same time. Chapter 23:12. The ghostly energy that constantly seeped out from the spirit vein turned into a powerful energy wave that continued to oppress Yi Chen and the others, forcing them to slow down. However, this process did not last long. Yi Chen waved the dragon-taming spear and swept across 3,000 miles. The 9 heavenly Dao thunder completely shattered the obstacles. Emperor Darkness and Ling Wang, who were behind them, were basking in Yi Chen's glory. That was why they could successfully enter the earth vein. At this time, Yi Chen could not care less. He wanted to find the spirit vein. Demon Eye awakens. Yi Chen continued to release the power of the demon eye and found the spirit vein's core as quickly as possible because he could clearly sense that the Chakra King was already on his way. Hiss hiss hiss. Under the illumination of the demon eye, the spirit vein's core finally appeared in Yi Chen's mind. However, Ling Wang and Emperor Darkness did not see it. They only saw that Yi Chen seemed to be surveying, but only Yi Chen knew the result. Yi Chen had the initiative. The other two could only stare at Yi Chen's movements, hoping that he would act quickly so that they could find the spirit vein's core. However, Yi Chen did not move. He would not let these two reap the benefits without doing anything. Since he had found the spirit vein's core, he could act at any time. Yi Chen, have you found the spirit vein's core? Once the Chakra King enters this place, we'll be in trouble. Emperor Darkness said with a smile, trying to pressure Yi Chen to act quickly. Ling Wang, who was behind them, had the same idea. Yi Chen smirked when he saw how anxious the two were. Why are you so anxious? Yi Chen asked. We're just worried for you. The Chakra King's attention is mainly on you now. What do you think will happen to you after he arrives? Ha, you don't have to worry about me. If you want to find the spirit vein's core, then let's do it together. I haven't found its exact location yet. The two looked at each other. They knew that as time went on, things would become more and more troublesome. If they did not act now, when would they act? Alright, let's find it together. The two knew that if they did not act, Yi Chen would not act on his own. They could only cooperate with Yi Chen. The three of them worked together. After searching for less than 15 minutes, the ground rumbled and the earth veins exploded. Countless ghostly auras surged in. It was the sign of the arrival of the Chakra King. Having sensed the signs of the Chakra King's arrival in advance, Yi Chen had long hidden himself in a secret place. Ling Huang and the Darkness Emperor did not notice. When the Chakra King arrived, he saw the two of them rummaging through the spiritual vein core. All of you die. The Chakravarti King was infuriated. Die. He waved his long arms and released countless chakras, chasing after the duo. The chakram's speed was extremely fast and its energy coefficient was extremely high. Even a heavenly immortal would be severely injured by this kind of attack. Both of them dodged and searched for Yi Chen's figure. However, all they saw was emptiness. There was no sign of Yi Chen at all. What happened? Where's Yi Chen? Ling Wang asked. I didn't notice. Weren't you searching for the core of the spiritual vein with us just now? Emperor Darkness' face twisted as he spoke. Both of them frowned, knowing that they had been tricked. Yi Chen had long hidden himself, exposing them to the Chakra King. In that case, Yi Chen's sensing ability was above theirs. He had long known about the Chakra King's arrival. This be starred sneaking away by himself. Now, only by defeating the Chakra King will we have a chance to continue searching for the core of the spiritual vein. At this point, both of them had no choice but to fight to the death with the Chakra King. After all, they were confident in their own strength. If they joined forces, they would definitely defeat the Chakra King. Ling Wang flew forward and threw out countless spirit talismans. These spirit talismans were imbued with the primordial world's powerful laws. Once they were stained with them, they would be controlled by Ling Wang. It was the puppet technique. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. These spirit talismans rushed toward the Chakra King's majestic figure and stuck to his body. Supreme Dermic Edict, heed my command, Edict. Ling Wang pinched a talisman with his index and middle fingers and released his power to burn the talisman. The laws contained in the talisman cracked and turned into energy, drifting toward the Chakra King. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. These energies quickly merged with the spirit talismans on the Chakra King's body. The Chakra King suddenly felt that he could not move his body and was dumbfounded. Ah! Ling Wang laughed. He had thought that it would take a lot of effort to deal with the Chakra King, but he did not expect that a single supreme spirit talisman would be enough. Seeing that the Chakra King was as still as a bronze statue, Emperor Darkness' heart trembled. He thought that if he was stained with this talisman, would he not be at the mercy of others? Therefore, Emperor Darkness was very wary of Ling Wang. Ling Wang naturally noticed this, but this was a manifestation of his deterrent power. Instead, he was very proud. A mere Chakra King wants to be my enemy? You're overestimating yourself. Emperor Darkness, let's quickly find the core of the spiritual vein. All right. The two of them split up and searched for the source of the spiritual vein's energy. Meanwhile, Yi Chen, who was hiding on the rock wall, smirked slightly. Although the Chakra King's apparition was controlled by the spirit talisman, his real body was the most terrifying. He had not revealed himself all this time, which was also the variable that Yi Chen was most afraid of. Therefore, he was not in a hurry to act. The best time to act was to let Ling Wang and Emperor Darkness help him force the Chakra King's real body out. Rumble! Just as Ling Wang and Emperor Darkness moved, the Chakra King's body automatically disintegrated and turned into dust. Shuang Chang's expression turned serious. This was clearly not normal. This meant that a variable was about to occur. The entire ground of Thousand Blade Peak trembled. Subsequently, Thousand Blade Peak collapsed one after another. Endless rocks flew and collided. It could be said that the sky and earth were turned upside down. Such a massive energy fluctuation made Shuang Chang not dare to carry it. They released their own energy shields to protect themselves. At this moment, in the central area where the rocks were flying, an extremely powerful ghostly energy erupted. The Chakra King's real body had appeared. You've only destroyed one of my clones and you think you've defeated me? What a joke. Countless wheels were spinning in the Chakra King's eyes. He shot a ghostly light in front of him that contained countless miniature wheels. Once hit by this ghostly light, these miniature wheels would enter the cultivator's meridians, causing their energy to flow in reverse. Their meridians would be broken and they would die. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Wherever the ghostly light passed, not even a blade of grass would grow. Only then did Ling Wang and Emperor Darkness understand the true power of the Chakra King. I didn't expect the underworld to have such a powerful person. This shows the importance of the spiritual vein. Emperor, we can't fail this time. Of course. Chapter 23:13. Ling Wang and Emperor Darkness were not afraid of the Chakra King's true form at all, displaying the demeanor of a king. However, the Chakra King's cold eyes revealed only murderous intent in the face of the Chakra King. There was no other emotion. It was this pure murderous intent that made the Chakra King's battle extremely simple and effective. Unbounded chakra formation. The Chakra King did not hesitate and immediately used his ultimate technique. Countless chakras rushed out of the spirit vein and hovered in midair. They aimed at Shuang Chang from below and above his head. Kill! With a sudden roar, The Chakra King leaned his arms forward and thousands of chakras attacked at the same time, sweeping across the area. In front of him, everything in the path of the chakra exploded. Nothing could stop the crushing of the chakra. Moreover, the Chakra King was still absorbing energy from the spiritual meridian to stimulate the power of the chakra. Even Ling Wang and Emperor Darkness were temporarily suppressed. I didn't expect this monster to be so powerful. I've underestimated him. Ling Wang had to admit that the Chakra King's strength was beyond his expectations. Otherwise, he would not have been so confident. Emperor Darkness was equally shocked. There were thousands of chakras before him, and each chakra had the power to injure a heavenly immortal. Even though their strength was far above a heavenly immortal, they were helpless against so many attacks at the same time. At this moment, Yi Chen, who was in the secret space, had been observing the changes in the Chakra King's aura. It was similar to the location he had determined with the demon's eye. It was obvious that the Chakra King was absorbing energy near the spirit vein's core. Demonic chakra reincarnation. A majestic shadow of a chakra appeared behind the Chakra King. The power of the unbounded chakra formation continued to increase, and Xuangchang was in danger. Don't panic. We have to wait a little longer. Although Yi Chen had confirmed the location of the spirit vein's core, he was still very calm. The Chakra King still had a lot of energy left in the battle. If he made a move under such circumstances, he would definitely suffer a fierce counterattack from the Chakra King. Ling Wang and Emperor Darkness might even take advantage of him. He would not do such a thing. In the center of the battlefield, the Chakra King's power continued to increase. Ling Wang and Emperor Darkness looked at each other. They knew that the Chakra King had the home advantage. If they continued to be suppressed by him, the consequences would be unpredictable. The only thing they could do was fight back. Emperor Moon in Gulf form. Monarch Darkness flew up. The entire sky changed color, and heaven and earth were shaken. The moon swallowing demonic ability descended. Mountains and rivers collapsed, and the sun and moon sank. Boom! The massive demonic aura instantly countered the Great Wheel formation. At the same time, Ling Wang made his move. Supreme Spiritual Talisman. Visit from all directions. ZZZ. Countless talismans floated in the air. Following that, the silhouettes of deities were summoned, and they all unleashed their abilities to resist the revolving wheel martial skill formation. The Revolution Wheel King was actually suppressed by these two moves. This enraged the Revolution Wheel King, and the 18 true Lord ranks exploded. With a long howl, the Chakravarti King continued to absorb the power of the spiritual vein. At the same time, his body had reached its limit. This was a sign of the final battle. Ling Wang and the Emperor of Darkness looked serious at the same time. They naturally knew that once the Chakra King unleashed his powers, it would be the most terrifying destructive force. Monarch, apocalyptic demonic flame. A sovereign emperor pushed his demonic energy to the limits, unleashing a might that could destroy the world without holding back. Ling Wang, supreme demon sealing order. At the same time, Ling Wang released the divine weapon, the supreme token, which floated in the air. The surrounding talismans were strengthened by the supreme token, increasing their power by 10 times. Limitless Wheel. 6 Paths of Destruction. The Chakra King activated the most powerful power of the spiritual vein, and all the wheels merged into the limitless wheel. This was the ultimate battle. The two fought to the death. The sun and moon didn't exist anymore. As the Chakra King used his most powerful ability, the core of the spiritual vein appeared and Yi Chen locked onto it. Spacetime Wrath. With a roar, the sky snake black tortoise opened the tunnel and swallowed the core. What? The Chakra King turned around and looked at Yi Chen in shock. The core of the spiritual vein was swallowed by the sky snake black tortoise. In the blink of an eye, Yi Chen was still 100 miles away. Boom! 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 At the center of the battle, the limitless wheel continued to be destroyed. The Grand Supreme Demon sealing array shattered and the Emperor of Darkness demonic flames disappeared. Xuanchang's body was sent flying while the body of the Chakra King continued to crumble. He knelt on one knee. "I want you to die." The Chakra King was enraged and activated the last of the spiritual vein's power. Seeing this, Xuanchang didn't dare to fight back. He used his most powerful movement ability and escaped from Thousand Blade Peak. Buzz! Buzz! In the abyss of Thousand Blade Peak, a beam of light shot into the sky. The entire Thousand Blade Peak mountain range cracked because the core of the spiritual vein was taken away. The heavily injured Ling Huang and the Emperor of Darkness flew far away and returned to the sky above the Thousand Blade Peak. They were greeted by hundreds of defeated soldiers. The battleship had been destroyed, and the army had been destroyed for a long time. The two of them were extremely depressed. Yi Chen, who had obtained the core of the spiritual vein, released spacetime ability many times and arrived at a safe location. "I've obtained one of the 6 spiritual veins." Yi Chen stretched out his hand. The sky snake spat out the core of the spiritual vein. It was like a dark ball of light, constantly emitting dark light. It was very mysterious. Next is the spirit realm. After finding the direction, Yi Chen rode the black tortoise to break through the barrier and entered within 3 kilometers of the netherworld. Then, he rushed straight into the spirit realm. The land of the spirit realm had been contaminated by evil spirit. There was evil energy everywhere. Many people had even been transformed by evil energy into evil spirit warriors. It was a tragic sight. It was a little troublesome to find the core of the spirit realm in such a place. Fortunately, Yi Chen had cultivated evil energy spells through the ancient god space. Now that he had achieved some success, such an illusion would not cause him any harm. It could even promote the progress of his evil spirit spells. Yi Chen recalled his experience in the spirit realm and thought of a place, the True Spirit Palace. As the most powerful holy land in the spirit realm at that time, the True Spirit Palace was the existence that controlled the entire spirit realm. It must be located in the place with the most abundant spiritual energy. However, because the True Spirit Lord had died, the entire True Spirit Palace had collapsed and disappeared without a trace. Today, Heavenly Emperor Yi Chen had set foot on this place again to find the core of the spirit realm. Heavenly Rule. Yi Chen activated mystic immortal laws and activated heavenly Tao power. It filled the entire space and instantly suppressed all the evil energy around the True Spirit Palace so that his movements would not be discovered by the evil energy. Walking into the ruins of the True Spirit Palace, there were broken walls and even piles of corpses. It was obvious that the evil spirits had massacred this place. 8 Gates Divine Disc. Yi Chen tossed out judgment. The mirror of darkness within it continued to emit light and scanned the surroundings. All kinds of information kept returning to judgment and reflected a diagram of the True Spirit Palace in midair. Chapter 23:14. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. As the strange light appeared in the sky, another scene appeared above the True Spirit Palace ruins. It was the true structure of the True Spirit Palace. Countless spiritual lights floated in this structure. These lights seemed to be telling Yi Chen the true story of this ancient spiritual land. The spiritual light that filled the sky dazzled Yi Chen. However, when he activated his ocular technique, Yi Chen saw the source of all the spiritual light at a glance. The vast spiritual power made Yi Chen feel as if it was the origin of the entire spirit realm. "Ha, the core of the spiritual realm, here I come," Yi Chen chuckled. He put away the god's disc and rushed toward the place where the spiritual power gathered. Above the ruins, Yi Chen moved as fast as lightning. He arrived before a vast ocean. This ocean was the True Spirit Sea. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Loud thunderclaps came from the surface of the sea from time to time. Thunderclouds appeared on the surface of the sea. Purple lightning flashed and torrential rain poured down as if welcoming Yi Chen's arrival. However, this welcoming method surprised Yi Chen. Ha, Thunder Dragon, this is your ingredient! Of course. The dragon restraining spear flew into the sky and the Thunder Dragon appeared. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Above the sky, purple lightning constantly struck the Thunder Dragon. However, not only did this power not cause any harm to the Thunder Dragon, but it even increased his strength rapidly. Come, thunder of the ninth heaven, let me enjoy it to my heart's content. The Thunder Dragon absorbed the endless power of the divine lightning, and his cultivation base increased at the same time. Below, Yi Chen rode the heavenly emperor's sword and flew up. He looked down at the sea from midair. Huge waves kept rolling on the surface of the sea as if there was a force stirring the wind and clouds. This excited Yi Chen as if he could see the spirit vein. Swimming dragon sword. Roar. Accompanied by the sound of a dragon, the swimming dragon sword flew into Yi Chen's hand. Subsequently, he threw it toward the sea below. Rumble. The swimming dragon sword was like a pillar that stabilized the sea. It constantly evolved and became incomparably vast, like a pillar that held up the sky. The torrents of the sea kept crashing and spinning around the swimming dragon sword, but could not affect it at all. Then, the swimming dragon sword unleashed the power of a heavenly weapon and opened a path to the bottom of the sea for Yi Chen. Go! Yi Chen controlled the heavenly emperor sword and went deep into the sea through the tunnel created by the swimming dragon sword. The torrential seawater was unable to approach the space tunnel created by the swimming dragon sword. Yi Chen felt as if he was walking on flat ground. Yi Chen quickly entered the deep sea. He could feel the spiritual power around him flourishing even more. This was definitely the place with the most spiritual power since he came to the spirit realm. Buddha's eye illuminates the world. Yi Chen activated the Buddha Emperor's eye and instantly saw through the boundless world beneath the sea. Countless information surged into Yi Chen's head. So the oldest true spirit palace is here. Yi Chen suddenly opened his eyes. His face was filled with excitement. He had never thought that the true spirit hall was not the one built by the true spirit lord. Instead, it was hidden under the sea in the deepest trench. This was the true primordial true spirit hall. Overturned seas and rivers. Yi Chen's palms revolved. The ancient god power was like a primordial beast, cleaving a new path with the swimming dragon sword. Along the way, Yi Chen saw various creatures swimming past him. When they saw Yi Chen, they also looked at him with surprise. However, these creatures did not mean him any harm. These little guys were nowhere to be seen on the mainland. If not for the fact that he had something important to do, Yi Chen would have stayed and carefully observed the underwater world. However, the deeper one went into the sea, the greater the pressure. At a depth of 20,000 meters, even a heavenly immortal would not be able to withstand it. However, as a human cultivator at the mystic immortal stage, Yi Chen was able to do it with ease. On one hand, it was because he had divine weapons, and on the other hand, it was because his foundation was strong enough. As he continued to move deeper into the sea, Yi Chen sensed a powerful spiritual light shining toward him. In such a dark space, such a spiritual light was an extremely abnormal phenomenon. It could only be a spirit vein. Just as Yi Chen gradually approached the spirit vein, suddenly, a wave of darkness shrouded the sky and earth. Yi Chen seemed to be wrapped in darkness and could not see clearly what was in front of him. At the same time, many spirit beasts in the deep sea fled, clearly sensing the impending danger. Yi Chen's eyes turned slightly cold. He looked ahead with his spirit eye and saw an undersea creature the size of a mountain staring at him. This creature had a huge head and a pair of scarlet eyes like two bloody moons. To be able to move freely and survive in such a deep place, it was obvious that this fellow was extremely powerful. Moreover, it was unknown how long it had been absorbing the core energy of the spirit realm. It was difficult to estimate how high its current cultivation base was. Roar! The gigantic creature roared angrily at Yi Chen. Yi Chen sent out a palm strike with a tremendous burst of energy, emitting sparks from the bottom of the sea. Yi Chen saw that the creature was actually something like a whale, but its mouth was full of sharp teeth, and there was pus seeping out of its throat. Yi Chen immediately felt a great threat. This pus was definitely a highly toxic substance, and might even be extremely corrosive. Dragon Energy Shield. Yi Chen's entire body was enveloped in the Dragon Energy Shield to resist the thick venom before him. At the same time, he flew up and released the immortal slaying flying saber. Swish, swish, swish. Countless rays of light cut through everything. The scales of the demonic whale below were cut wildly, blood flowing out. It suddenly became even more brutal. Roar! It roared continuously. Above the demonic whale's head, hundreds of tentacles appeared like an octopus. These tentacles stirred the seawater wildly, entangling the countless saber gleams, preventing the saber gleams from hurting the demonic whale. How dare you be so presumptuous before this emperor? Facing such a demon, Yi Chen's eyes widened and he unleashed the heavenly dragon roar. The explosion split the water 3,000 feet long, and the explosive force split 10,000 miles. The demonic whale felt the extremely powerful impact. Its 10,000-ton body was also pushed back by Yi Chen. The scales on its body cracked, and it was in unbearable pain. Ignorant junior, how dare you harm me like this? The demonic whale before Yi Chen could speak human language. As expected, it was a demon with a profound cultivation base. Absorbing the energy around the true spirit palace under the sea allowed you to cultivate to this state. It seems like the spirit vein core is even more magical. Hearing Yi Chen's words, the demonic whale trembled slightly and said, "You want to enter the true spirit palace? How about it?" "Humph, impossible, you little brat." Yi Chen saw the disdain on the demonic whale's face. It seemed like it did not believe that Yi Chen could enter the true spirit palace. However, from the way Yi Chen stopped attacking, the demonic whale was the one who really wanted to enter the true spirit palace. It had even spent a lot of time doing this, but it had failed. Chapter 23:15. Who are you? Yi Chen asked when he saw that the demon whale seemed to be very interested in the true spirit hall. The demon whale shook his hill-like body as if he wanted to show off. However, after being sent flying by Yi Chen's heavenly dragon roar, he was still a head shorter than Yi Chen. In the end, he could only answer honestly. "I'm the old demon whale. I've been cultivating here for 3,000 years. My only wish is to enter the true spirit hall. I've tried for 100 years and never succeeded. What makes you think you can enter the true spirit hall?" He looked at Yi Chen with disdain, but he was very excited. After all, it was the old man's first time seeing a powerhouse who could swim 20,000 miles under the sea and still be so carefree. He seemed to see something different in Yi Chen. If Yi Chen could really help him enter the true spirit palace, that would be the best thing that could happen. Ha ha ha, even the heavens can't stop me, much less 10,000 miles of seawater. Kid, don't boast. Do you know how powerful the true spirit hall is? Even a heavenly immortal can't pass through the external formation. I've cultivated to this point and am close to heavenly immortal rank. I've tried many times but to no avail. Damn it. It's just a piece of cake. Old demon whale, how about following me into the true spirit hall? Humph, kid, if you can really bring me into the true spirit hall, I'll submit to you and die for you. All right. Yi Chen did not expect the old man's obsession to be so strong that he had to enter the true spirit hall. This way, he could use his obsession to help him open the door to the true spirit hall. At the same time, he could fulfill the old man's wish and gain his loyalty. It was killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Under the old demon whale's guidance, Yi Chen successfully found the true spirit hall. It was at the bottom of the sea where the flames were erupting. There were dozens of volcano-like things that were constantly spewing lava. The lava was extremely powerful. Each eruption had the explosive power of a mystic immortal. boom, boom, boom. The erupting lava mixed together and constantly rushed in all directions, putting the entire True Spirit Hall in an extremely dangerous state. If anyone wanted to enter, there was no need to go to the formation area. Just the lava before them was enough to keep them at a distance of 1,000 miles. Ha, kid, are you shocked by what you see? Are you afraid to go forward? Old man, my name is Yichen. Today, I'll show you what the heavens can do. It seemed that Old Man Demon Whale still had some doubts about his own strength. Since that was the case, if he wanted to thoroughly subdue this person, he would have to display a considerable amount of skill. Yichen walked straight ahead, completely unafraid of the lava's power. The demonic whale elder was dumbfounded. Yichen, do you want to die? Just as the demonic whale elder was still in shock, Yichen's entire body began to flow with dark matter. The ancient god body's black gold glazed body covered his entire body, forming a powerful protection. Even if the lava poured down, it would not be able to harm Yichen in the slightest. This scene left Old Man Demon Whale even more shocked. He finally understood that the strength of this youth in front of him wasn't something he could hope to reach. This so-called boundary was nothing but nothingness. Only true strength was king. Hoo. Of course, the lava flowing around the True Spirit Palace was not just for show. Sensing the intrusion of the abnormal energy, the lava went berserk and attacked crazily with powerful lava cannons. At that moment, the Dragon Chi shield appeared around Yichen again. It was a double-layered protection that was extremely powerful. Zzz. Finally, acknowledging Yichen's formidable strength, the formation above the True Spirit Palace's door flickered and activated. Be careful, this light indicates that the formation has been activated. This venerated body hasn't gone past the first layer of the formation even once. Seeing that Yichen was about to encounter the first layer of the formation, the demonic whale elder quickly warned. Once touched by this kind of formation, one's body would be crushed to pieces. There was no chance of survival. The demonic whale elder himself had used his manifestation body several times to test this formation and had not been able to escape. His manifestation body was at the level of a high-level mystic immortal. He was no match for Yichen at all. Right now, Yichen was only a mystic immortal. This made the demonic whale elder nervous. As your master, do I need you to remind me? Stinking brat, you haven't fulfilled the conditions yet you want to be my master. Aren't you too arrogant? Just watch. Yichen ignored the demonic whale elder and turned to lock onto the formation above the True Spirit Palace's door. Buddha's eye illuminates the world. Activating the Buddha Emperor's eye, Yichen could see through the formation in front of him. Endless confidence flowed into Yichen's mind, forming a picture. In this picture, there was an extremely powerful underwater pressure law. It turned out that the True Spirit Palace could be so safe underwater because of these laws. Boom, boom, boom. There were several rumbling sounds and the surrounding space was compressed rapidly. The pressure was so great that it could not be stopped. Clang, clang, clang. Yichen felt his body of steel was violently distorted. The black gold glaze began to vibrate, but the darkness pool had awakened and continued to release dark matter to replenish the glaze's strength. Soon, no matter how strong the pressure was, it could not stop Yichen from moving forward. Yichen's aura alone was much stronger than the demonic whale elder. After all, for so many years, the demonic whale elder had only used his manifestation body for the test and did not dare to test it himself. This was because he could not break the pressure formation above the True Spirit Palace's door. Following Yichen's roar, the surrounding space twisted rapidly. His voice formed a powerful sound wave that gradually shook the surrounding space. The power of the lava was shattered and could not get close to him. At the same time, it also activated the formation above the True Spirit Palace's door and began to devour wildly. Rumble! The pressure came wave after wave like a tsunami, crazily crushing Yi Chen. Demon's Eye awakened the Nether God. Under the extreme pressure, Yi Chen awakened the underworld deity power. The darkness pool behind him turned into a black sun and rose behind him. Clang, clang, clang. Following that, countless reverse scales grew from the darkness pool's body and rapidly grew, turning into cutting wings that rushed forward at a speed faster than the blink of an eye. Such terrifying power completely shocked the demonic whale elder. He was now completely certain that if Yi Chen wanted to kill him, it would be as easy as turning over his hand. This brat is a demon, a god. Although the demonic whale elder had thousands of years of cultivation base, he did not dare to look at the current Yi Chen. Clang, clang, clang. Countless cutting wings rushed forward in a frenzy. All the lava was shattered and all the pressure was cut apart, unable to reform. All that could be seen was chaos, distortion, and shattering. Ah! Heavenly Emperor Sword, gather! Spiritual light flashed between Yi Chen's brows. The Heavenly Emperor Sword pointed forward and countless sword energies gathered on the peak. There was no divine power, only a concentrated will. Hiss, hiss, hiss! The sword energy exploded and the tip of the sword shot toward the True Spirit Palace's door. Chapter 23:16. Hiss, hiss, hiss! A deep whirlpool appeared above the True Spirit Hall's door. Boundless water pressure gathered in it, pressuring the Heavenly Emperor's sword. However, the Heavenly Emperor's sword was already a heavenly weapon, so it was not afraid at all. Converge sword intent. Yi Chen flew forward and grabbed the hilt of the Heavenly Emperor's sword with his right hand. He pushed it hard. Instantly, vast power was infused into it. All the power rushed toward Yi Chen's blade along with the converged sword intent. All that could be seen was destruction. Boom, boom, boom. Boundless sword energy collapsed, causing cracks to appear on the True Spirit Hall's pressure formation. Under the impact of the Heavenly Emperor's sword's sword energy, these cracks gradually grew larger and began to spread endlessly. Finally, the entire formation completely collapsed, and the True Spirit Hall's door opened before them. As a mystical aura gushed out, the old demon whale experienced an unprecedented psionic energy. He nearly fell to his knees. Yi Chen took a deep breath. The various rules of spiritual energy surfaced in his heart. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh! As the Heavenly Emperor's personal divine weapon, the Heavenly Emperor's sword was naturally protected by the Heavenly Tao. The moment the True Spirit Hall's door opened, endless spiritual energy began to automatically gather toward the Heavenly Emperor's sword. The previous consumption was quickly replenished. Demonic Whale Elder, did you see me open the True Spirit Hall? Yi Chen turned to look at the Demonic Whale Elder and asked. Yes, I saw it. Heavenly Emperor Yi Chen lives up to his name. I'm impressed. Seeing Yi Chen's strength and aura, like a god descending to the mortal world, the Demonic Whale Elder was not dissatisfied. He immediately transformed into his human form and knelt on the ground, willing to follow Yi Chen. Ha ha ha, this is just the beginning. Demonic Whale Elder, I hope your talent is enough for you to enter the True Spirit Hall and find your own opportunity. Thank you, Heavenly Emperor. The Demonic Whale Elder bowed and followed Yi Chen into the hall. In the hall, endless seawater surged and all kinds of strange flowers and plants were vivid and lifelike. Naturally, these flowers and plants were different from those on the continent. They were in the shape of long strips or jellyfish. Under such pressure, they floated naturally. The surrounding spiritual energy turned into bubbles that constantly rushed out. Old Man Demon Whale was incomparably excited. He constantly absorbed the surrounding spiritual energy, causing his aura to gradually strengthen. Inside the hall, there were broken walls everywhere, similar to the True Spirit Hall on the mainland. It could be seen that a great battle had taken place here tens of thousands of years ago. No one knew what was going on in this battle. Elder Demon Whale, you've been here for tens of millions of years. Have you seen anyone else around the True Spirit Hall? Yi Chen asked. Your Majesty, I really haven't seen it before. It's just that there was a phenomenon here 100 years ago. Phenomenon? That's right. Countless volcanoes erupted in the surroundings, making it impossible to enter within a radius of 500 kilometers. At that time, I could only leave. Yi Chen could not help but wonder if the phenomenon was man-made. Yi Chen tossed out the 8-gate divine disc and summoned the Emperor Brush with his divine telekinesis. Decree of the Human Emperor. He waved the Emperor Brush and engraved the Edict of the Human Emperor on the 8 gates' divine plates, which shone with golden light. Then, the power of the divine plates spread out for hundreds of miles, lighting up the entire passageway of the true Spirit Palace. He could see everything at a glance. What he saw was the endless corridor of the true Spirit Palace. What's going on? Yi Chen was extremely confident in his ocular prowess. However, he could not see the end with a glance. This did not make sense. Elder Demon Whale, did you see something? Your Majesty, I really didn't see anything. There's just some spiritual light in the darkness. Scattered light. Yi Chen's brows furrowed. He looked ahead but did not see nor did he sense the so-called spiritual light. It was obvious that only the Elder Demon Whale, who had been at the bottom of the sea for a long time, could see this kind of light. Is this spiritual light guiding us? It's deep and unfathomable ahead, but I can lead the way. Let's go. Yes. The Elder Demon Whale bowed and agreed. He led Yi Chen toward the direction of the spiritual light. After walking for about an hour, they saw a large pool with a radius of 500 kilometers. There were specks of bones in the pool. It was very strange. Yi Chen looked at the bones and found that they were very powerful. Some of them were not inferior to the Elder Demon Whale. To this. How is it? Your Majesty, among these bones are my clansmen. I didn't expect to see them here. Yi Chen sensed the surroundings. He could vaguely sense the existence of danger. These bones were definitely not a coincidence. They were powerful beings. Rumble. Suddenly, the ground trembled and the entire true Spirit Palace shook. The water in the pool surged and countless bones flew up, attacking Yi Chen and the Elder Demon Whale. Go! Yi Chen's body trembled. Draconic chi surged and the surrounding space rapidly crushed. The bones fell to the ground. Thump, thump, thump. Following that, heavy footsteps sounded. Each step was like the ground trembling and the mountains and rivers trembling. Yi Chen looked into the depth. Sure enough, a pair of cold eyes appeared, staring at him and the Elder Demon Whale. Ah! The Elder Demon Whale saw those eyes and instantly trembled. This was his body's natural reaction. It was not something he could control. Elder Demon Whale, what's wrong? I feel a deep fear. What I see in front of me causes my soul to tremble. This is the feeling of a natural enemy. How is this possible? I, Old Demon Whale, am the overlord of the deep sea. Who could possibly make me feel such fear? The Elder Demon Whale's mind was no longer normal. He constantly muttered as if what he saw was a man-eating monster. Don't panic. Yes, yes, although he said yes, the Elder Demon Whale's body was still trembling. Slowly, the body of the polished object appeared before the two. It was an ancient beast. The slit-toothed giant shark. Cluck, cluck, cluck. The slit-toothed giant shark sneered at the two. Its body was too large. The true Spirit Palace, which was always 1,000 feet tall, was squashed by it. You dare intrude into this king's territory. As the giant shark king, you should enjoy this delicious meal. I'm just afraid you won't have a good time. Yi Chen responded with a faint smile. The Shark King looked at Yi Chen and revealed a pair of blood-red eyes. Those were eyes that were filled with 10 layers of foolishness. It was even possible to see images of corpses. What kind of cruel existence was this? It could make these vengeful souls' corpses unable to escape its control. Kill. Yi Chen did not say anything else and attacked. Cluck, 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 die. The Shark King swung its giant tail. It was like a collapsing pillar that held up the heavens. Clang! However, this tremendous force was actually blocked by Yi Chunhong's great Buddha palm.